Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Serving Erie, Huron, and Lake counties and beyond. This is Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVME Meadville, WVMN Newcastle, WVMU Ashtabula, or stream us anywhere with the Moody Radio app, other streaming services, and at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
Alabama Governor Kay Ivey is signing a bill to protect in vitro fertilization into law. It's 6 o'clock. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. Ivey signed the measure shortly after it was officially passed on Wednesday. The new law protects providers from lawsuits and criminal prosecution for the damage or death of an embryo during IVF services. New information is being released as to why Eastern Heights Middle School went on lockdown Tuesday morning. Elyria police say the lockdown happened after a staff member overheard a student saying he had a gun. A search of the school led to no gun being found, and the student told police he was just kidding around. A Sandusky City School District teacher is being placed on leave. The district says intervention specialist Taryn Schnee is on leave after she was indicted last week in Huron County on charges of sexual imposition, unlawful sexual conduct with a minor, and attempt to commit an offense. Sports and weather coming up in just a moment.
When God calls us, when He nudges us into the unknown, it can be exciting, but also overwhelming, risky, and terrifying. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, a corporate leader looking to follow God's calling, or a retiree who knows you have more to give the world, you need to read Taking the 5 Leaps by Rachel G. Scott. It's doable help to get you to the purpose that God has planned for you. Taking the 5 Leaps. Get your copy at moodybooks.org. That's moodybooks.org.
In sports, the Cavaliers fell to the Hawks 112-101. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Cloudy with a slight chance of very little drizzle this morning, then partly sunny this afternoon. Highs in the mid-50s. And at last check, we had drizzle in Cleveland, 39 degrees. Cloudy in Akron and Canton, 38. Youngstown has a drizzle as well, and 38 degrees.
It's time for your moron moment.
Watching YouTube and parts of the video are just boring you. Double-click the right side of the video to skip ahead 10 seconds. If the intro is still playing, double-click again to skip it altogether. Another option, hit the right arrow to jump ahead 5 seconds. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 6:02 with Moody Radio News. I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the Bob Devine Studio. It's Mornings with Brian. Want to join the conversation? Call or text now at 440-546-2255.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
6:06, such a gentle ending. I can't be like, hey, oh, you know, I don't know why. But I just did. So, hey, I feel old today for a couple of reasons.
Okay.
One of them, my third child, Sophia, my little sweet pea. She's my sweet pea. She's so sweet and cute. She's 16 today.
Aww.
Wow. You
Right?
are old.
Oh, goodness sake. My third is 16. So I have, and this is the season of the year where they're right in a
All
row.
changing.
18, 17, 16. My oldest 3.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to that.
Wow.
You're like you're thinking it. You're both thinking,
Yeah.
this man is ancient.
Yes. You have an 18-year-old.
Yeah, I know.
Oof.
We're just like changing our wills so she has custody of the kids if Sarah and I have a horrific accident. Because she's an adult now. Why wouldn't she take over?
She would?
Yeah.
Sophia? Not
No,
Grace?
the 18-year-old. Sorry, I'm not being
Okay.
clear. The 18-year-old. No, we're not choosing.
Yeah. I
That'd be
thought,
controversial.
Why would you skip the other two?
Well, they're a little sketchy. No, but it's a lot, guys. And can you think about my poor wife, what she went through for basically 3 years in a row?
Yeah, no, that's terrible.
And then remember, it would have been, since Sophia's 16, it would have been 16 years ago in June, I moved to Chicago and started in the radio with
Wow.
a 2-year-old, a 1-year-old, and a newborn.
Mm.
I'm overwhelmed thinking about it. I'm so old, you guys. And then here's the next way I'm feeling old. So, what are you laughing at?
Here's the next way I'm feeling old.
No, this is so like Sarah's been into the last couple of years, like being like, you know what? I'm going to go to some concerts of artists I like.
Good,
Good for her.
Yeah.
'Cause
I mean, I think it's a great idea.
you don't want to go, so go ahead, Sarah.
Well, and we have very different taste in music, like very different. And I just, we kind of poke fun at each other a little bit about it. But she takes the kids to some of hers. I'm trying to think, like she went to NF. It's like a Christian sort
Never
of
heard
hip
of
hop
them.
person. I don't know anything about it. She took the kids there, and it was a big party or whatever. I don't know. I stayed home and with the little boys. But I was like, oh, you know what? I should do this. I love music. I'm a musician. I love all that. And so I've got these, like, I'm more of a singer-songwriter kind of guy right now. So there's this artist I really like named Alan Stone. And I don't think you have to just go to Christian concerts, by the way. If you want to get mad at me, I think Christians can love secular artists as well. So there you go.
As long as you repent afterwards, you're fine.
If you're upset, ron.eastwood@moody.edu. And so I find this guy's going on tour. I see online. I'm like, I'm doing it. I'm going to go to a concert. I am still young and hip and happening. I'm going to go to a concert.
Good for you.
So I look it up. He's going to Columbus. Fine, close enough. Because nobody comes to Cleveland. What is that about? I just get so frustrated. I don't want to go down to Columbus. So fine, I'll go to Columbus, look it up, click on the thing to buy the tickets. You guys, it's general admission standing room.
Oh, no, I'm not doing that.
going.
I'm
No.
not doing that.
Those are some of the best concerts.
No, they're not.
Those
No,
are
they're
some of the
not.
best shows I've been to.
Daria, I sit down. This is what I do. I
No,
sit.
it's a smaller venue. It's a much like the artists can interact with the audience. Those are some of the best shows I've ever been to.
But what about when you're 2 hours in and you want to sit down?
You
Or when
should've-
the guy next to you is really tall and he's annoying and he's sweaty.
Yeah.
You just move yourself and make sure you're wearing comfortable shoes.
Daria, here's what I say to you. Get ready. Incorrect.
Wrong.
Ron, would you do that?
I have gone to stand-up concerts, but only because my son was singing with that band.
Well, right.
We
See,
did
that's what
not
I would
go
do.
otherwise. Even if it was, Paul McCartney doing a solo thing and, just a small group of people were allowed in. Sorry, Paul, I'm not standing even for you.
You wouldn't
And-
see Paul McCartney. You'd be like 20 feet from the stage.
Not necessarily. You might be like, 100 yards back standing there.
Oh, it
They're
wouldn't
us-
be that big.
No, they're usually very small venues. They're kind of they're usually like bars that double as like a concert hall. They're very small.
Okay, did you not hear the standing part?
Yeah.
Did you not hear that part? I think you missed that part.
That's why they can fit more people in, because they took all the chairs out.
Yeah, and like I'd have to touch other people. I don't want to be like, front to back with. Ew. What if they're gross?
You get over it and you have a nice time.
No, I do not. You don't know me well enough yet.
I went
do
with my
not get
mother to
over it.
one of those just a few months ago, and she's older than you are. She
was-
had a great time.
It was probably some sort of quiet concert where everyone's gentle or something.
Nope.
What was it?
It was like a pop-ish, country rock-ish
I
concert.
don't know. Lauren, you're not standing up. You
No,
sit
was in
no,
the
down.
mosh
absolutely not.
pit.
I'm not standing.
Is it because you got 2 kids now? You're like,
Yeah,
I'm
I'm
done
old.
standing?
Yeah.
She's in her 20s.
I used to.
That's what it is.
I used to a lot go to standing concerts like that, small like bar type venues. Then me and Eddie went to a Killers concert at the United Center in Chicago,
I don't even know what that is, but it sounds great. Go ahead.
and it was standing. And I said, "This is the last time. This is the last time."
What,
I can't do this
what
anymore.
was it that you said it's the last time? Just it was the standing.
It's the standing, yeah.
Like I just want to sit down. It's a concert. I want to enjoy this by sitting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel bad about it. I want to see this guy perform, but the least he could do is go to a venue that's got chairs.
Bring your own chair.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, bring a camping chair.
Be like, excuse me, sir, do you have a wheelchair as well? Would you like us to help you out with a walker? I mean, I don't know. You can't do that.
You can.
wouldn't see it.
Yeah, everybody will be standing in front of you unless you're like the first person there, in which case you're probably still craning your neck up at the stage. And Brian might think it's too loud too.
No, it would be too loud. I'd have to bring earplugs. And that would be even more embarrassing. But no, like so about 12 years ago when I was working in Chicago, the band Korn is not a Christian band. Don't go look up their lyrics or listen to their music. Okay, it's a whole long controversial thing. But anyway, 2 of the guys in the band are saved. I've talked to them before. I've met them both. One of them's the bass player. His name's Fieldy. He loves Jesus, and he considers it a mission field for him to continue doing his thing. So they were performing in Chicago, and morning show host, who was at the time like 60, I can't even believe, 60-year-old white dude.
Yeah, going to a corn concert.
Yeah. And he was texting with this guy from the bass player, and he invited us to go. We hung out on his tour bus beforehand. And
Wow.
you would think that sounds rowdy. No, we talked about Jesus the whole time. It was very calm. My wife was very pregnant. We took some pictures. And he gave us passes to go see the show. I was like, all right, yeah, sounds great. At the time, I got like 3 kids. I'm like, go. I go, it's standing room, but we get access to the front part.
Oh, no.
Nice.
Do they mosh at corn concerts?
I don't know what they do. I went in, I heard a song, and it was like, I didn't like it. Sorry, buddy. I'm glad you love Jesus, but I don't like this music. And everyone's standing. I was like, I waved. It's like, bye. I left.
And suddenly,
You
the
waved at
crowd
him
lifts
while he was
Sarah in the air,
performing?
and they're moshing her around. She's flying.
I don't remember if I waved or not. Maybe I gave him a bro nod, but I was like, dude, I'm out. I'm glad you love Jesus, but I don't love this. They're standing. It's loud. It's stuff I don't like. I'm out. And I left.
One time I went to a concert when I was in high school, and it had a mosh pit, and I was wearing.
No.
I don't remember what happened to my shoes, but I had to wear my friend's shoes.
What?
Yeah,
Like,
I
at
don't
the
remember.
concert?
I'll have to think like deeply about that. Yeah, I don't remember what happened to my shoes. Oh, I remember. It was the summer, and I was wearing like sandals or something, and my guy friends were like, "No, you can't wear sandals here. You can I have some shoes in my car. You can wear these ones." I needed to wear like shoes that had ties because they would be moshing.
Oh, no. No.
So then my foot was in my shoe and it's a little big. Someone stepped on my shoe, but my foot wasn't in it, and so I fell over.
Oh no.
Oh.
And then I almost got trampled to death. They were moshing all around me.
I'd be traumatized. Are you okay talking about it?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I mean, I'm scared for you.
Yeah.
Like,
I had a friend, and he was trying to find me, and he reached down to the ground to find me.
oh no,
I
Lauren.
know.
See, and Daria thinks, "Oh, great idea, Brian. Go to the
I didn't say go to
stand-up concert."
I didn't say go to a mosh pit. Like there's a big difference between a standing concert and a mosh pit. I've never done a mosh pit. I've got no desire to do so.
Very scary.
Did your mom keep her shoes the whole night?
She did. It was a very, very tame, very civilized
See,
concert.
I have a thing about shoes. Like, I want to keep my shoes. What if I fall out of my shoes at the stand-up concert?
Well, I don't think you're going to be going to a concert that's going to be like the one I was at.
I don't know.
Well, a singer-songwriter, I don't think they're doing moshing.
Right.
Well, probably not. You guys, I'm so offended that there's no chairs at this place. Like, I was like, oh, maybe up in the top. There's nope.
Bring your own.
And then it's like, oh, you could pay for the VIP thing, the meet and greet. And I don't want to do that, but is there chairs? No. When you're done meeting him, you go into the mass of people standing there smelling and touching each other.
I can see you have a can of Lysol. Excuse me.
Walking around with his hand sanitizer.
Spraying it on people.
Excuse me, you're touching me. Move away. That standing room, I don't care. Oh.
Yeah, just bring a camping chair. See what happens.
No, I'm not going.
Okay.
I'm not going. And I'm mad. I'm mad at him.
Well,
I
you
might
have
not listen
choices,
to him.
so you can't be mad.
Well, I think I can be mad.
Not.
I think I'm allowed to be mad about this.
No.
Well, what can I feel then? What am I allowed to feel, Lauren?
If you are not willing to do the other options, you can't be mad.
Can
you
I
can
be
still
sad?
go. Yeah, you can be sad.
I'm sad with strong anger type emotions. How about that?
Anger type.
Yeah, I'm sad, very loud about it. It's 6:16, coming up in a minute. Check this out. I want you guys to get ready because we're talking about going to a show. Ron, this is going to be we're going to be using this in a minute here. because we're gonna go to Nashville in our minds. And this is what I'd imagine a club would sound like, but I wouldn't go to one because I'm too tired and old. But is this what a club sounds like?
I don't know.
Daria's like, I went clubbing.
No.
Standing room only with my mom. We're going to go to a club in Nashville for a specific reason.
Okay.
Don't worry. I'll explain it more coming up here in just a minute.
Pursue your passion of shepherding, teaching, and ministry leadership with a Master of Divinity from Moody Theological Seminary. Study systematic theology, pastoral practices, learn to analyze Scripture through the lens of the original Hebrew and Greek texts. Take classes when and how it's most convenient for you, on campus in Chicago or Plymouth, Michigan, or online wherever you are. Get started today at moody.edu/mdiv, moody.edu/mdiv.
If you're looking for a way to leave a legacy that will help many hear the gospel, consider including the Moody Bible Institute as a beneficiary within your will, trust, or other estate planning documents. This is a wonderful way to steward well and extend your partnership with Moody beyond your lifetime. To learn more about the benefits of remembering the Moody Bible Institute, Moody Radio, and your other favorite Christian ministries with a legacy gift, go to moodylegacy.org. That's moodylegacy.org.
This is David Harms with the ministry India Partners, and I have walked through the red light districts of Mumbai, India numerous times, and trust me, it is dark. Young girls have no joy in their eyes because they feel they have no future, and they'll be stuck in the trade for the rest of their lives. But once they get into a safe house run by India Partners, well, just listen. That is God at work, which is why for the last year we've shared powerful stories of safety, rescue, and care happening through the India Partner Safe Houses. These girls are safe from harm, well cared for, and introduced to the transforming and healing love of Jesus. Learn more about the power of rescue and care in a safe house at indiapartners.org/Moody.
Join the conversation by call or text at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
6:19. It's grumpy old man Brian today. In my day, we had chairs at concerts. That's what we had in my day. But hey, before we get back to me being grumpy, I'm actually not grumpy about something. I'm neutral. We're going to talk about it in just a minute. But first, Share is coming up on Tuesday. Can't even believe it. It's going to be Share Week next week. We need your financial support. And guys, we're on our way to our what we want to launch the campaign with on Tuesday.
Yeah.
We want to be at a quarter of our way towards the goal, which I've been told in math is 25%.
Facts.
Okay. So now that we've covered that, we're at 19.91% of our goal right now, which is super exciting. Thank you to Edward and Stowe. What's up, Eddie? You gave last night. Thanks, Edward. Ronald in Brunswick. Did you move, Ron?
No.
It's not you.
Another Ronald. Surprisingly, there's more than one of us.
Yeah, Ronald in Brunswick. Thank you for your gift. Judith in Ravenna did a monthly gift, $30 a month. Bravo. I could go to a whole bunch more. Why don't you thank our next listener here, Lauren? Go ahead.
No, thank you. I'm not going to fall for your pranks.
I'd like anyone with a difficult to pronounce Ohio City, please give this morning so we can try to force Lauren to say it. Try as in she doesn't do anything she doesn't want to do this, Lauren.
No.
But anyway, get your gift in today. We could use your financial support. Text SHARE to 440-546-2255. Text SHARE to 440-546-2255. Or you could call 800-600-9624. 800-600-9624. Okay, we all love Jesus. It's Moody Radio, but buckle up. Here we go. We're waiting in line right now to get into a club. We can hear it inside there. I'm grumpy already because I have to stand up, let alone think about dancing. If it was a slow song, Ron Eastwood would get on that dance floor, wouldn't you, buddy?
Oh, yeah. I take Dan out at every wedding once at a slow song.
Yeah, no, I look at my wife and go, oh, it's a slow one. You ready to throw it down? In the olden days when I was in college and I was in a bunch of weddings, you know, you go in that season where all your friends get married.
Yes.
I had one where That was a scary part of the song there. I don't know what happened.
You would never survive in the club.
No, I would not.
On second thought, don't go to that concert, Brian.
I did the moonwalk it was very epic. I can do the moonwalk. Billie Jean came on, and the place kind of like circled around me, and it was
At a wedding?
I was Michael Jackson
Wow.
for a few minutes. People couldn't tell that it wasn't Michael, except for I'm white and didn't have a glove and all that business.
Mm-hmm. But your Jerry curl was great.
Oh yeah, dripping, absolutely. Which is not drip in. It was like literally dripping all the. Anyway, okay. So why am I bringing this up? You're like, Brian, don't talk about going clubbing. You shouldn't do that. Well, there's Christians who are doing this. This is why we're talking about it. Should we continue this sound, Lauren, or do you want it to stop? I can't tell
I'm
by
fine
looking at
with
your
it.
face. Okay. Here we go. Cleveland 19 covered the story. The young crowd at a Nashville nightclub was ready to dance under the strobe lights to a throbbing mix of hip-hop, rap, and Latin beats. See? But first, they did something else. It's so painful for you.
You have to watch the live stream. You just have to today. Text live 440-546-2255.
But first, what did they do? They gathered to pray and praise God.
Interesting.
The rules were announced on the dance floor by a mic-carrying MC. Wiki, wiki, wiki. That was me being the MC.
Mm-hmm.
To more than 200 club goers.
Do you need the music turned down?
I think I might. Blanketed by thick smoke fog machine stuff. Rule number 1, says Ron Eastwood. No twerking. I'm reading from the article. Rule number 1, no twerking here.
Okay.
Second rule, no drinking. Third rule, no smoking. Fourth rule, no going with girls that do. Just kidding, that wasn't it. No twerking, no drinking, no smoking. The last unspoken rule seemed obvious by then. No secular music. The playlist would be all Christian. Welcome to the Cove. Are you look at, you're in the club already. Look at you.
I'm in the club.
You two would go. What? Turn it off.
Let's turn the music down a
Turn it
little bit.
off. Okay. Here, I'll turn it off. There we go. It's distracting. Well, you two would go to the club, wouldn't you? The Christian club.
No.
Not today, I would not.
Because you got babies and you're tired?
Yes.
But
I would go once.
I don't think
See
they
what
want
it's
you
like?
there.
Mm-hmm.
Be like, I'm sorry, sir. Did
That
you drop
is
off your
mean.
grandchildren? I mean, well, no, I don't think it's designed for Ron and my demographic.
So because there's no alcohol, do they allow like underage kids to go, or is it a certain age limit?
Well, let me keep reading. The pop-up 18 and up Christian nightclub.
18 and up, okay.
So if you're at an 18 and up nightclub, would you like 60-something Ron there or 40-something Brian?
Sure.
See, that's not true. Don't say that. Ron, do you believe her?
I do. I have no reason to doubt the veracity of her statement.
Okay, well, it was launched last year by 7 black Christian men in their 20s. Among them, an Ivy League-educated financial analyst, musicians, and social media experts. They sought to build a thriving community and a welcoming space for young Christians outside houses of worship. The launch comes at a post-pandemic time of dwindling church attendance, especially among black Protestants. That surveys say is unmatched by any other major religious group. So one of them, his name is Eric Diggs. He's 24 years old. He's the CEO of the Cove. He said, "We ourselves experienced a pain point of not being able to find community outside of our church, not knowing what to do, to have fun without feeling bad for this stuff we're doing. That conflicts with our values. So there wasn't a space to cultivate that. So we created it ourselves out of that pain point, the loneliness, the anxiety, depression, COVID, and the long-time quarantine. So before the first monthly party in November, they set an ambitious goal to get 1,000 followers on social media. They ended up getting more than 10,000 followers for the first event. He said, which was insane. And his brother, Jordan Diggs, who's 22, manages the club's social media presence. He said, Christians get a rep for being corny. Sorry. Is that kind of my fault?
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. And he said, we want to show that Christians can be normal, can be cool, and they can have fun. Is that true?
It is true, yeah.
I don't know. We are kind of corny sometimes, though.
You're corny.
So they did it. And club organizers asked people to be ready to dance the worship night away and look their best. They said, when you pull up, we expect to see you in your holiest drip.
That's what they said? Or did you just make that up?
No, they said that.
Oh.
I don't even know what it means. Holiest,
Like
is that
an
clothes?
outfit. Yeah.
Do you have holiest drip?
I have
Like-
pants with holes in them.
Right.
What I wear to church.
Is that your drip?
A drip is an outfit.
Oh. Ron, don't act like you know all this, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I just commented yesterday how Daria was, her drip was bussing at the Walkworthy.
Did you tell her that?
Yeah.
Wow.
I
On the
said,
air, where's
girl,
you?"
you ate and left no crumbs.
Oh, I forgot
That's the
about
thing
that.
he said.
That's
Yes.
right, I forgot. And apparently they have gotten some pushback. Does that surprise you?
No.
No.
What's the pushback, though?
The feedback has been mostly positive. Club founders have also faced criticism on TikTok from some who say that dancing and worship don't go together.
Oh, well, yeah.
What did David do?
Or they even see it as a sin to do what these guys are doing. It's a sin. Because people go in there and they're like dancing the night away. One couple flew in from Australia for one of the events.
Wow.
Because they're like, this is surreal, crikey. I mean, don't shake your head. That's what they sounded like. Crikey. I'm dancing here and out. That's terrible. I can't do it. One guy's mom told him about it and told him to go. And he said, that's fire.
Ah.
What does that mean, Daria?
Really cool. Let's go.
That's fire. Should we have a problem with this? It's very successful in Nashville. Very successful. They're packing the place out with Christians drinking soda pop and dancing like crazy, as they'd say, cray-cray. Right?
Do they have food and drinks?
Oh, they have food trucks outside.
Oh,
no
nice.
food inside. There's food trucks because it's like it's a pop-up club. I think they rent out places or whatever. But strobe lights, it's a club. Sans, twerking, drinking, smoking.
Okay. Do they have a cover charge?
I don't know. Probably. Why wouldn't they? I would if I was in charge. It'd be
Yeah.
really expensive, actually.
They've got to rent the places that they
Yeah.
pop up at.
Do we have a problem with this?
No. I think it's young people need safe spaces where they can have fun and not get into trouble. So I think this is a great idea.
And what's interesting is it's not a larger idea. I've heard of this when I was in like middle school. Some churches they'd go buy like a place, a warehouse spot or something. And they call it the garage, and it's where the youth would go hang out, and there'd be like bands, grunge bands, because this was the '90s. And I never went because I don't like standing up or loud things. But anyway, that was cool. But no, I don't think this is a thing anywhere else but Nashville right now. Christian nightclub, legit. Like it feels just like a club, except for the drinking and smoking and twerking.
I know there have been, like even around here in Cleveland, there have been events where you meet and you dance. There's a DJ playing music. But I don't think of it as a nightclub. But these guys are popping up other places, so maybe it was.
Do you think that this could be sustained as a business, though? Like, let's just say somebody in Cleveland's like, wow, I love this idea. It's a safe place for Christian young people to dance and have fun. Which, by the way, in case you're wondering, Moody Bible Institute does not have a policy against any of us dancing, or talking about other people dancing.
Or having fun, for that matter.
Yeah. This is not the movie Footloose. We are not John Lithgow.
No. I think it's a dangerous proposition from the perspective of trends and fads change so quickly. You might be in and popular for 3 months, and then all of a sudden some influencer says, oh, this was so not dope. And
It's
and
very
everybody does a
undrip.
Yeah. The drip has dropped on that one.
It's off fleek.
Yeah, I don't see it being a sustainable business model. So maybe if they do like pop-ups where it's like a monthly thing, that might be more successful and more sustainable.
And see, this is led by a group of young people. So let's just say somebody's like, hey, I'm the youth pastor. Let's start a pop-up club. Is it going to work if a church is going around doing this?
I don't think
Sending
so.
out flyers and making announcements? It's not going to work.
I don't think so.
Why not?
Because the people who are starting it are the ones that would want to be there, so they know what it should be like.
Right.
a youth pastor is going to try to make it what he thinks that they want or what the church would be happy with or within the church's, rules, whatever they may have. But if it's the young people doing it themselves, they know what they want. They know what they're looking for.
Plus, as soon as you attach like church or youth group to any event, people just get this idea in their heads where you're not going to get people that aren't already super churched, and even some of them may not want to go.
Okay, then I'm the youth pastor. Fine. Okay, I won't do a pop-up club, but what we're going to do, we're going to have youth group club night. We're calling it The Drip. And we're going to invite all the kids in, and it's going to be a dance club in the youth room.
It depends on the makeup of your youth group. If you've got a lot of cool kids who are, willing to invest their reputation into the club.
Oh, to get buy-in from the kids.
Yeah, you might have success. But if all you had was a handful of kids who really weren't into the clubbing atmosphere, and they're just going to go sit anyway, you're not going to get other kids to come in because it's not inviting.
Well, if somebody out there, some young person starts up this club, Ron and I are available to be your DJs and get the party started.
Whoop, whoop.
Wave your hands in the air.
Someone texted in, that sounds fun. Get some church clap going.
I think it's a creative idea. How cool that they're doing this. I love it. I think that there are some churches that might try to ruin it by taking it over, but I would love to see it as a trend that grows for a while. I just don't want to go. I'm tired and old. It's 6:33, time for a quick break. When we come back, we need some of your help, and we also are not too far away from this week's edition of Pretend Experts.
I'm Barb Karayan, and this is Pause for Prayer. Did you ever wake up in the morning feeling angst and stress and maybe fear about what happened yesterday? You wish you could take back words, actions, indulgences. You wish you could reverse time and start over. Obviously, what happened yesterday is in the record books, but we can make a fresh start. We don't have to wait for a new year or even a new day. Lamentations tells us, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. Would you pray with me? Heavenly Father, we come before you with thoughts of guilt, regret, or maybe just stress and fear. King David said, against you, only you, have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight. So you are right in your verdict and justified when you judge. Lord, when we fail people, we also fail you. Please remind us that you are a forgiving God. Remind us that we don't have to be stuck in the past. As David also said, create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. This is our prayer today. Thank you, Lord, that no matter what happened yesterday, there is hope for today. You alone, God, are in control of our destiny. Even in our failings, your grace abounds, and you can restore us and fill us once again with the joy of your salvation, the joy of a fresh start. We seek authenticity and a willingness to repent, to seek forgiveness, to make right what we have done wrong. Also, give us the mind of Christ so that we can look not only to our own interests, but care about the interests of others. We desire to love well. May we embrace your plan for our lives and surrender to you as you work in us to complete the work you've called us to do. Thank you for your promise that he who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
6:40 now on WCRF. Don't forget it's Thursday. That means Dave Szfranski is here from 8 to 9 to answer your financial questions. We're happy to take those early if you'd like. 440-546-2255. 440-546-2255. And then also, our good friend David Mullane will be with us from 7:30 to 8. And again, he's Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Medicare at Yost Insurance. So he'll take your Medicare questions. We know you have Medicare questions because the entire system doesn't make much sense to anyone. The more I hear people talk about it, I'm like, what? And he can answer your questions. So if you want to text in your questions, you could. You could do those early. Again, Medicare questions, we'll get to them around 7:30, between 7:30 and 8. 440-546-2255. But hey, our share campaign comes up on Tuesday. And I'm looking forward to a particular aspect of it. When we hear comments from you about what this ministry means to you, it's like one of the few times a year we get direct feedback. Now, we know you're in your car or your bedroom or wherever, your kitchen, doing your thing, loving what's going on. We hear from you by text and such, but we don't often get that quick, direct feedback on what this ministry means to people. And I just love reading those notes. We've already gotten some pretty awesome ones. And we'll share them as time goes by here, but we need your financial support for certain. If you're new to us, maybe you've only listened for a year, 6 months, a couple of weeks, whatever it is. We've had people who literally are listening for a day and call and give during share. So would you consider it? It's you that keeps us on the air. And many of your grandparents, some of your great-grandparents, established this radio station in 1958 with their generosity and their donations. And so we're asking you to carry on that mission. So if you want to get your gift in so we can hopefully get to 25% of our goal, we're at 19.9. We're getting real close. Get to 25% of our goal by the launch of the campaign. You can text us. Text SHARE to 440-546-2255. Text SHARE to 440-546-2255. And we've had people give in the last couple of days. Lauren, you want to thank a few people?
Yeah, Stephanie in Vermilion gave a monthly gift. Thank you, Stephanie. Rose in Pulaski. I assume it's Pulaski like everywhere else. Ron?
Yes.
Thank you. Marguerite in Cleveland, David in North Royalton, Michael in Akron, Stacy in Louisville, Adele in Akron, our friend Orin from Vermilion, Catherine in North Canton, Aaron in Barberton, and the list just goes on and on.
Thank you so much, all of you. We're super grateful. Now, again, there's a couple of ways to give if you've never given in this ministry. There's the one-time gift. Maybe you don't have a lot to give. You can't add us to your monthly expenses. No problem. A one-time gift we'd be super grateful for. Maybe $100, $150. So, I mean, if you only can do 20, great. Every gift matters and makes a huge difference for us. But there's also a monthly option. Maybe you can stretch a little further. Like, I have no idea what I pay for Spotify for my family, but my children begged for years for it. So finally, Sarah and I got a family subscription. So I don't know what it is, but I said it, and I forgot. But
Set it and forget it.
we have it. Maybe you have your monthly subscription to Netflix or Hulu or Peacock or Paramount Plus. Just add us to that list.
Yeah.
Pretend like you subscribe to it. And that'll be your way to donate. Decide what it's worth for you each month. Some people do 20, 50, 100, 150. But my recommended entry point is $30 a month because you unlock a bunch of benefits with that.
Yeah.
You can get 50% off Moody Publishers titles, all of them, for the length of your auto gift. There's other perks and stuff that come in that I don't have in front of me at the moment. But nonetheless, that $30 a month is a great starting point to consider.
Mother's Day and Father's Day are coming up. So if you donate, you can get some money off on gifts for mom and dad.
Including the Moody Bible Commentary. It's a giant book. It's expensive. And you get it half off.
All the 5 love languages. Every different variety of the 5 love languages. What is it? The Moody Handbook of Messianic Prophecy. You're always texting in about prophecies.
Yep.
Go get a book for 50% off.
And, I mean, I don't care who you are. You can look at the person who does the budget in your family and go, listen, you know how much money I saved? Half. 50%. I basically got this for nothing.
Girl math.
Exactly. It's girl math. This is ripe for girl math, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then if you read it a few times, suddenly you've gotten great use out of it. It's $0.
Exactly.
Yes.
There it is.
We use it so many times.
So would you consider it? We'd be super grateful for your financial support. The phone lines are open, as I understand it. 800-600-9624. 800-600-9624. There's a lovely melody that goes with it. Dari, go ahead. Why don't you sing it for us?
No.
Oh, okay. I guess that was Lauren. Go ahead, Lauren.
No, thank you.
Ron, is Kathleen available to sing it for us?
Kathleen here?
I'm sure she is. I just have to
We're
find
waking her up. She has 3 kids. She's very tired.
Take the baby from her. Hold the baby.
All right. There she is, baby, holding.
800-600-9624.
Share.
Oh, so beautiful.
Or you could text the word share to 440-546-2255. We'll send you back a link, and you can do what I do. If you want to remember to text somebody back, you just leave it unopened, and you have that notification sitting there. And do that this afternoon. Text share to 440-546-2255. All right, coming up after a break, we're going to play this week's edition of my very favorite thing. Since we're in show business, delete the show, suddenly we're business people, businessmen and women. We're going to evaluate some business decisions in our favorite segment called Pretend Experts.
Our culture is changing rapidly, and it's easy to get caught up in the frenzy. There is a way to stop the madness. Focal Point Ministries and Moody Radio are offering you a free copy of Encouraged by the Psalms by Pastor Mike Fabarez. Many of the Psalms were written by people who looked beyond their current troubles and found encouragement for their soul. Get your free copy of Encouraged by the Psalms by going to moodyradio.org/encouraged.
The Adventures of Captain Radio, the listener's best friend.
Captain Radio! I've been on a desperate search for a way my family can listen to Moody Radio. They don't live near a Moody station.
I have 3 solutions, ma'am.
Do tell.
Your family can listen with either a smart speaker, the free Moody Radio app, or online at moodyradio.org.
Captain Radio!
You're standing on my cape.
Sorry.
Join us for more Adventures with Captain Radio.
They say family knows you best. Here's Brian's older brother with a message for you.
Does it seem like your son or daughter will just not stop talking? My little brother is proof that not all hope is lost.
It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Look at business decisions and impose their positions. Without a doubt, they know what they're talking about. It's time for Pretend Experts.
Our first story comes to us from Minneapolis, Minnesota, don't you know? Okay, then. You want some hot dish there? Okay, hon. Sounds good there. Target. I don't know if you know this. Target is based in Minneapolis. Yeah.
We know now.
Yeah.
Most of the people I graduated high school with work there.
The Dayton Hudson Company.
Correct. So they're going to launch their own paid membership program next month.
Oh, boy.
Ooh. She already hates it. I can tell.
I do, but let's hear the rest of it.
What they're doing is they're following the lead of its rivals, Amazon and Walmart. Because Walmart has Walmart Plus. Did you know that?
Yeah.
They do free delivery and stuff for you. Mm-hmm. So Target's subscription program, Circle 360. I've never liked the Circle thing.
It's the Target.
I know it's a Target, but I feel like Targets and Circles, while related, are totally different. I've never liked it.
Circle 360 that's just redundant.
And also, their brand is 365, isn't it?
Is it? I don't know.
I thought they're like...
Just call it Circle or 360. You don't need both.
And you go in there and they're like, hey, phone notification. Do you want circles or whatever? You want to be in here? And I don't know what you're doing to me. Does that ever happen to you? You go in there and they...
No.
They know you're there?
No.
I got a problem.
Yes.
Anyway, they're going to launch this in early April, and it's going to cost $99 per year.
What do you get?
The program will include unlimited free same-day delivery for orders over $35, along with other perks. Yes, you heard that right. Unlimited free same-day delivery for orders over $35. I don't know how they could do that.
You already get that with Amazon and Walmart without even subscribing.
Well, it's a very limited product list of what you can get same day. Right? I mean, like...
For Amazon.
If you live in a major metropolitan area like Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, there's a ton of stuff that's same day. But here in Northeast Ohio, we have limits to same day delivery. I can't get much same day where I'm at. Can you guys get it where you are?
I didn't even intend to, but I just ordered toilet paper from Walmart and it arrived that evening. It was free. And the toilet paper was only like $12.
And you didn't pay for the membership?
No. It's just I ordered a few things and the toilet paper arrived that evening.
Oh, wow. Maybe they were worried about you. You know, if you ordered toilet paper, better get it there quick.
That flu's going around.
Oh.
So, what do you think? Is it going to work?
I wouldn't pay $99 for that.
Someone will, though.
Do the drive up. It's free.
Right.
Don't have to get out of your car.
Well, but if it's same day, I mean, honestly, when have you been to Target and been like, oh, I'm just going to buy a few things, and then you end up with at least $35 of stuff in your cart? Because they have grocery, they have clothes, they have candy. I don't buy
I'm saying
else.
doing drive up.
I just don't shop at Target because it's so expensive.
Boy, Ron, we got a couple of curmudgeons over here.
Yeah, I think there will be some, especially moms with a lot of younger children, who would say, you know what, I'm not getting all of these kids in car seats, even if it's to drive up and just wait for them to pick it up, and bring it out to my car. So there will be some people who do that, especially those who have a little more discretionary income and throwing away $100 a month, no big deal.
$100 a year, just to be clear.
Oh, well, that's, much cheaper, but still.
Yeah, and I always feel bad for the third and beyond company that does something. It's like Amazon's been doing delivery for so long. Target's like, hey, I have an idea. Delivery. And you're like, Target, really?
But at some point, we're going to oversaturate the market like we did with streaming. If every company has their own plus whatever free delivery, you can't possibly get all of them.
And you're already people are already like totally in with Walmart or Amazon. I just don't see this. And then the infrastructure they have to be able to, I mean, what if a whole bunch of people are like, oh, great idea. I'd like it now, today, same day. What?
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to do that? Think about the vehicles, the drivers.
The environmental impact.
But that's why they make the $35 limit, because, people might be thinking, oh, I want a gallon of milk. Well, that's only going to be $8 or whatever. Now if I want that free same-day delivery, I have to start thinking of other things. Throw in a couple frozen pizzas and
And they're
let's
gonna
see
make
some
more money.
socks and
Yeah.
You can never get it right at 35. You're always going to get like, now it's 42.
Yep.
45.
So if it's a decent idea, too late is what we're saying, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
And you hate it just all around, Daria.
Yes.
You hated it from the first sentence I read. All right, next story. This one is for the gamers out there. Huh? Eddie and Jimmy, the husbands of the show. Huh?
Let's hear it.
It's a $180 gadget that's called GameScent.
Oh, no.
It's literally a breath of fresh or not so fresh air for gamers. You plug it into your console or PC, and it puffs out scents like burning rubber when you're
I
when you're
heard
in a
about
race.
this. I heard about this.
Or gunfire when you're in Call of Duty, and then they write, I wonder what Minecraft smells like. I don't know, maybe when there's a fire, it'd be like smoke.
No one asked for this. No one needs that. I
What
hope
would Jimmy say? We don't care what Daria thinks. What would Jimmy think? Does Jimmy want this?
Jimmy's not here.
Jimmy doesn't want his wife to be mad at him for spending $180 on this.
But it could smell like burning
Touche.
rubber
He
when he peels
doesn't.
out.
No, he wouldn't want that. He just wouldn't.
You heard about this. Eddie ordered it.
No, I heard about it. I don't remember how. Was it a podcast or something? I don't know.
Eddie,
No, he would not get that.
you don't let him get tools or GameScent.
Sorry, like you have to change out cartridges to whatever game you're playing. Like, oh, I'm playing Super Mario. Let me put some, I don't know, bubble gum and tires in there.
Yeah, what would Super Mario smell like, I wonder?
I don't know.
Just chaos.
Flowers, maybe? I don't know. They have flowers in there.
Yeah. Mushrooms.
Grass.
Mushrooms? Don't
Ron,
inhale too deeply on that.
Ron, do you like it? I think it sounds fun.
I think it's a novel idea. I don't think a lot of people will buy it, but those who do will really enjoy it.
And then you have to start buying cartridges for all your new games. And just, no.
No, so if you have to keep paying for the maintenance of it, like, I don't know, like, things like nail polish and makeup, we don't want to.
Do I look like I wear nail polish to you?
Oh, she's mad. Okay, never mind. Next story. Next story. We're going to go to Oklahoma City.
Is that
I don't know what they
I
sound
don't
like
think
down
so.
there, but it's southern. Yeah.
You're doing fine, Oklahoma.
Is Oklahoma southern?
Yes.
Yes.
Well, it's western.
The panhandle's over Texas. Yeah. Okay. A fundraising event at an Oklahoma public school went viral. What they were doing is they wanted to raise money for a coffee shop nearby that employs people with developmental disorders. Sounds nice.
Yeah.
Their idea was it raised $152,000 for this shop. One school.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Because it was such a popular viral thing. Although the school superintendent, he's vowing an investigation because he's calling the event, quote, filth.
Oh.
Uh-oh, what happened?
The kids, what they decided they would do is lick peanut butter off the feet of fellow students.
Oh, my. Wow. That's a commitment to raising those funds.
Spread peanut butter on Jimmy's feet, and you're like, get over here. And they made $152,000 because people were willing to pay for that.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd pay for you to do that.
Can't argue with the results, but that is disgusting.
You wouldn't do that? What about,
No.
What about your BFF in high school, like your sweet friend, and she takes regular baths?
No. It's so gross.
I wouldn't be on either end, paying or licking.
Would you be on the feet end?
No, that's what I'm saying. Paying.
I'd slather peanut butter on
No,
my
you
foot.
wouldn't.
I don't know.
No, you would not.
Ron, come over here.
You've done hand sanitizer like 14 times already. There's not even any hand sanitizer in there, and you're still squirting it. There's no way
I'm
you're
getting
letting
the
someone
last
lick
bits out.
your feet.
Well, if I was about to jump in the shower, I don't know. Ron, what do you think? This is
Then
like,
you have to go home with peanut butter.
You didn't want to step
Licks on your feet.
gum.
No
and you want
surprise
someone
the
to lick
women
your
don't
feet.
like this one. But I think high school boys, this is a big win. Come on, Ron. You would have done this in high school. Ron Eastwood, come over
I
here.
would not have licked the peanut butter.
He said,
You
"Come
would
over
have,
here."
though.
I might have let someone lick it off of my feet
Yes, of course you would have.
I'm getting
for
nauseous.
the good of the coffee
the
shop.
coffee shop. It's
Yeah.
about the coffee shop, Ron.
Yeah.
No coffee is worth that.
But it's not that I'm getting coffee. It's the fact that this shop employs citizens with developmental disabilities that may not get work other places. And it may cost, them a lot of profit to hire these people who might need more supervision than those other abled. And so, why not help them out financially?
Bring in the tub of peanut butter, Ron says. Ladies, is this a split decision? You still don't like it. It
No.
helps people.
Find a different way.
There are way better ways
You guys are
to
like,
raise
"Oh,
that kind of money.
We could knit sweaters together.
Do it like pasta dinner, please.
We could draw pictures.
Like normal
But
people.
$150,000?
You're not going to make that kind of money with. Come over here and have some pasta.
You'd have meals all year long to raise that kind of money.
You're going to get like $50 raised for this place.
I
You
don't
want
know.
to raise money?
Do a
Peanut
bake
butter
sale.
on feet.
That is so gross.
And awesome. Way to go, guys. You did it. Oklahoma. Yeah. 7:02. Time for a quick break. When we come back, we got to meet some new friends who are making a huge difference for the kingdom with people who are trying to get out of a struggle in life. We'll talk more about that in a few minutes.
Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVMN Newcastle, WVME Meadville, WVMU Ashtabula, and everywhere with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
President Biden will deliver his State of the Union address tonight, where he'll play up the work his administration has done on things like infrastructure. It's 7:03. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. A preview of the speech says the president will outline how he's making the wealthy pay their fair share. Guests at the event before both houses of Congress will include family members of hostages being held by the Palestinian militant group Hamas. A historic Catholic college here in Ohio is closing this year. Notre Dame College in South Euclid announced that it will be closing its doors after more than 100 years. The college attributed the decision to rising costs, debt, and declining enrollment. Ohioans who would like to vote by mail in the March 19th primary are running out of time to make that request. Absentee ballot applications must be received by county elections officials by 8:30 p.m. next Tuesday, March 12th. Early in-person voting continues through the 17th. I'll be right back with sports and weather.
You don't have to put your life on hold to get your degree from Moody Bible Institute. Moody offers flexible online classes that feature a unique ministry-focused education. Study the Bible and theology anytime, anywhere. You'll benefit from the world-respected faculty and a connection with classmates from around the globe. Invest in your future and get your bachelor's or master's degree from Moody Online. Learn more at moody.edu/online. That's moody.edu/online.
In sports, unfortunately, the Cavaliers fell to the Hawks, 112-101. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Cloudy skies with a slight chance of very light drizzle this morning, then partly sunny this afternoon. Our highs are going to be in the mid-50s. At last check, cloudy in Cleveland, 38 degrees. Akron and Canton, 37. Lorain, Elyria, cloudy and 39.
It's time for your moron moment.
Watching YouTube and finding parts of the video are boring you? Well, double-click the right side of the video to skip ahead 10 seconds. Now, if you're still in the intro, you can double-click again to skip it altogether. Another option is to hit the right arrow to jump ahead 5 seconds. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 7:06. With Moody Radio News, I'm Ron Eastwood.
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
11 WCRF Mornings with Brian. Don't forget Dave Szfranski is going to answer your financial questions from 8 to 9 this morning. You can text in those questions, as well as we're about half hour away from our friend David Mullane from Yost Insurance. We'll answer your Medicare questions. You can text in those now, 440-546-2255, 440-546-2255. Right now, it's our privilege to have with us in studio, and of course on the live stream if you want to watch, from Emmanuel Promise of Hope, we have Pastor Kevin Hamilton and his fabulous wife, Rita. Welcome to the program, both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So good to have you both here. And you're, Pastor Kevin, you're also tied to City Mission. You work at City Mission?
Yes. I've been at City Mission 19 years doing security.
19 years. Mm-hmm. Wow. So you can give Jamie Buxton a very hard time for us
yes.
today.
Yes, I can.
Good. Please do that. In fact, if you're doing security, don't let her in today.
Okay.
Just make her do something to get in. But now, okay, give us the basics. If you're going to give an elevator speech on what is Emmanuel Promise of Hope, what is it?
Okay, it's a sober living. It's a sober living transition from like the City Mission, Salvation Army. If you came through, a drug rehab and just to help you get back into society, to help you stay a sober lifestyle. And from 6 months to a year, if you're ready to move, we try to help you to find a place. And that's basically what we do.
Now, what's the origin story of this? Because it's a pretty unique program, right? You have 4 houses, and right now you have 17 men who are in transition?
Yes, we have 17 beds, and it actually originated in 1989, 35 years. The late Fred Buford, he came up with the idea that we should have something for men coming out of the VA and out of City Mission and into a sober place from coming from a program, and to give them a little bit of hope. So.
Yeah, and paint the picture for the person who hasn't experienced homelessness. They might be like, well, wait, they went through, let's just say, City Mission's program. Oh, what transition? Why don't they just get out there and get to work?
Yeah.
Yes.
People say stuff like that because they don't know.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that, Rita?
It's just not that easy, So a lot of times when you go when you're homeless and you have nowhere to go, you have to be taught the fundamentals of being able now to survive. And definitely with the economy being the way that it is right now, rents are so high, it's at an all-time high. And so because of that, once they complete a program being sober, first of all, they got to get back on their feet, And so that's what Emmanuel Promise of Hope does. We charge, just a little bit of, for them to live there, and everything is included. And so they have their own bedroom, they have their own, they share a common living area. And so that's it, just a little bit, and then we help them to say, okay, now you need to save, some of your money to be able to, hold that back. So wherever you're going from here, you'll be able to, survive and have maybe what we call a leg up, So that's what we do. We try to help them to be able to get on their feet, get a job, and then be able to survive once they leave us.
It's one of those things where if you grow up in, let's just say, the suburbs or in an intact family and your parents are teaching you budgeting and such, it's hard to comprehend, why would you have to teach a grown man how to budget or how to save?
Yeah.
Why doesn't he just figure that out by now?
Well, most of the time, some of us growing up aren't even taught that,
Right.
You don't really realize that you need to budget, that credit is important because you have to have decent credit or, good credit to be able to rent anywhere. Most people are checking your credit rating. Most people are checking your background if you got felonies, different things like that. And a lot of our guys are coming from those backgrounds, prison, having, records and things like that. So all of that, is something that hinders them. So if they can't do it, then we're there. So if they can't, when they leave City Mission, if they can't go straight into an apartment or something like that, then they'll look to maybe transitional housing, and that's what we are.
And this is something our team has a passion for because one of my greatest frustrations is the caricature that's been created in American culture among Christians of what homelessness is, why it is, who's homeless. I mean, what really has become a common thread in church is you hear people that ultimately are like, well, listen, it's kind of lazy, just scamming the system is what's really going on. And if they worked hard, they wouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Now, I know we all in this room no, that's ridiculous. Can you help paint a picture for folks of what is homelessness really like for these guys who are trying so hard to get out?
Well, for me, it's when I go downtown and witness downtown, the men sleeping right in tents and stuff like that. And you would wonder, well, how did you get there? And a lot of it, and when you hear their story, they gave up hope in life, you know. And when you start to tell them about Christ and Jesus loves you and he has a plan for your life, and some of them never heard that.
Wow.
And when you be able to, you know, expound that and just instill in them that there is hope for tomorrow, you just got to give it to Christ. And, you know, stand on the streets, and it changes a person where when you take them out of the streets, now you got to take out with years and years and years of them thinking that there was nothing for them to live for.
Yeah, they've lost hope, and oftentimes I'd imagine these men have experienced trauma in their lives.
Absolutely.
That most of us can't relate to.
That's
Like, what
right.
are some of the, without giving us names of people, what are some of the stories that stick out in your mind of men who've experienced such difficulty in life?
Well, I had one brother. He came from the mission, and he came to us, you know, after he graduated, and he lived in a storage locker. And I said, "You lived in a storage locker?" "Yes, on the west side. I would go after they closed, and I would live in that storage." And then I had another brother. He lived under a bridge, you know, for about a year. And I said, "Actually, under a bridge?" He said, "Yes." And it's just stories that I couldn't imagine living under a bridge or in a storage locker, you know, and just to bring them to a place where, okay, you're here with us now. Our mission statement is actually 2 Corinthians 5:17, if any man be in Christ, he's a new creation. Amen. I say embrace the new.
That's
Get
right.
about the old, it's gone. Embrace the new, and the new is you're here now.
That's right.
So now we can start all over and do this right.
Amen. It's 7:18. It's time for a quick break. Here in studio with us, we have Pastor Kevin Hamilton and his wife Rita with the ministry Emmanuel Promise of Hope, as they have a couple of homes where they help men transition out of homelessness in the midst of sobriety to be able to get on their feet again. Yeah. And this is one of those just rubber meets the road, Jesus with skin on kind of ministries in our community. We'll keep talking with him here in just a moment.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten. Without Trinity support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838. That's 1-800-659-9838.
I didn't have any idea who God was.
That's when God began to move.
I met some Messianic Jews, and I'm half Jewish, and they taught me the word, and they just told me to listen, so I did, and it's just amazing what I've learned.
These are the stories that are being written as you give your pre-share gift.
To do that, go to moodyradio.org/Cleveland. Thank you.
Join the conversation by call or text at 440-546-2255. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland.
7:20 now, WCRF Mornings with Brian in studio with us. We have Pastor Kevin Hamilton, who not only has been at the City Mission for many years, but he also, along with his wife, runs Emmanuel Promise of Hope. It's a transition program for men getting out of places like City Mission or Salvation Army. It's a sober living environment to get back on their feet again. They have 17 men right now housed in this ministry, and they have 4 homes. We're excited to hear about what you all are going through. And first of all, we found out just now you're celebrating your 4-year anniversary today.
Yes.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. Thank you.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. And I didn't realize this coming into it, but I'm anxious to hear your story. Pastor, you're not only you're running the ministry, but you're a product of City Mission and the ministry. Can you tell us your story? Like how did you find yourself in City Mission?
Yeah, sure. Actually, growing up in my upbringing, we grew up around alcohol and drugs and things like that, and I got that early on and went through the years like that. Went to jail a few times, and God opened the door for me in March of 98. I met a man named Brent Richards, which is the chaplain at the City Mission. He came to the jail. He ministered to me, and he led me to Christ.
Wow.
And what happened was I went to prison, and I continued to correspond with him until 2002. I was released, and I actually got paroled there. I went through the program. In 2003, graduated. And 2005, actually I volunteered a year. In 2005, they hired me on, and I never left. I hooked up with Fred Buford. He was a counselor at the mission, and that's where I came over to these houses that we're at now. And he went home to be with the Lord in 2012, and I took over his place, and I've been doing it ever since.
That's incredible. I mean, what difference do you think it makes for the men who are living in your ministry that you are a product of the ministry as well? Do you think it makes a difference for them?
It makes a big difference because they see if I can do it, they can do it. And the whole thing is you give back what God gave you. And Romans 12 is one of my favorite verses. You know, I
Me too.
beseech you, brethren, by the mercies of God, to offer your body a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable of God, which is your reasonable service. And be not conformed any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Amen.
It's all about God getting your mind. If I tell the men, if he could change your mind, he can change you. Yeah.
That's one of our guiding verses here on the show as well.
Amen.
Because we want to guide people towards that. As you follow Jesus, it's a challenge to conform your mind to him.
Absolutely.
I think people are like, yeah, I like him. Great. I'm so glad he died for me. Anyway, back to my life.
Right.
No, you have to totally surrender your thinking and your life to him. And your story is a product of that.
Yeah.
Amen. Yes.
That's incredible. Can you tell us another story of someone who's been through Emmanuel Promise of Hope that's what sticks out for you as a powerful story?
Sure. One of the brothers, he's been there quite a bit, maybe 5 years. I just told him he could just stay there. His name is Michael Moreland, and he's a minister at his church. And when he came, he just couldn't let the cigarettes go. And over the years of being there at Emmanuel, he's been cigarette free for like 2 years.
That's a tough road for anyone who's tried to quit smoking. That's hard.
Now, the drugs, alcohol, he let that go, but the cigarettes he kept. And I told him, you're not going to go to hell for smoking, but it ruined your testimony. You can't carry a Bible and a pack of cigarettes in the church. So Michael Moreland has been like he's a pillar for me. He's my eyes and ears when I'm not there. Right now, if anything happens, he'll call me, let me know, and he's just a success story.
Call him the mayor.
Yeah.
What about you, Rita? What's one of your favorite stories coming out of Emmanuel Promise of Hope?
I've been there, like me and Pastor Kevin and I've been married 4 years now. And so when I came, I added the female touch that was missing, So I began to cook for the guys, I began to, have that woman side, add that touch. And so I've just gotten, close to some of the guys. We have about 4 mics at Emmanuel Promise of Hope right now. And so each one of them, 2 of them, like Kevin was just saying, Michael Moreland, and then we have another guy, his name is Mike. He always helps us like with the grounds, like he'll cut the grass for us and and different things like that. And I had went out of town. I went to Washington State with my aunt, and I was gone for about a week. And when I came back, he's like, Sister Rita, you cannot go ever again. We missed you so much, And I think I add that, I try to add that loving peace, that peace like your mom or your sister, that you can come to and talk to, try to let them know there's nothing that you're going through that we're not here for you with, to let them know that they don't have to hide if they feel like they're weak, if they feel like, they slipped up and don't want to tell anybody. We're here. We're not here to judge you, but we're here to help you to get past this, and to know that you can overcome it. Pastor Kevin is the prime example, that you can overcome it. You can be successful in this life.
And I love that you create the environment where it's a safe place to say you slipped.
Yeah.
The church needs to be a community where people are owning the fact that they're sinners and they're battling together. That's right. And this is one of the beautiful things that I've found. Like I feel most at home when I've been, quite frankly, going to recovery ministries to hang out with those guys, or when Lauren and I have been together in a prison.
Yeah.
Where you encounter a group of believers where nobody can hide the fact that they've made mistakes. And we're so good at hiding it.
Yeah.
And so you're offering these guys a chance to go, no, I'm not going to look at you funny because you got a record. I'm not going to be uncomfortable because you've been to prison. No, we love you, and we want to help you get on your feet. This is what we're supposed to be doing as followers of Jesus.
Amen. I have a story, if I can tell you.
Yeah,
real
you
quick.
can. Go.
There's one of our guys, he had lost his job. And so he's been struggling, really trying to find a job. And so we're like, okay, well, we're sticking in there with you, but we have limits. We have a certain amount of limits where you can stay. And so he was at his limit. And so we were, I was downstairs actually taking a shower, and I was just praying for him, calling out his name. And I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, give him one more month. He was supposed to move that day. And I said, okay. And so I was talking to Kevin. I said, I heard the Spirit of the Lord say, give him one more month. And so the Spirit of the Lord said, this is going to answer some questions for him, because we had talked to him back in January, and he was saying, that his faith was kind of shaky. And so when we talked to him, we called him over to tell him what was happening, that we were going to give him one more month. And he said, I don't mean to interrupt you, but the Lord had said to me, he's going to answer some questions for him. And he said, I just asked God, do you hear me when I'm praying? Because he just felt like he just wasn't getting anywhere. And God answered that question for him and proved to him that he was there with him, gave him a job the very next day.
Praise the Lord. Wow. Amen. What a story. Again, we've been having a wonderful time here in studio with Pastor Kevin Hamilton, President and CEO of Emmanuel Promise of Hope, and his wife, Rita. Again, you can go listen back to this to get more information and hear it all again. Go to our live stream on YouTube, and you can see the whole thing again or share it. This is a ministry in our community helping men transition out of homelessness and addiction into success and thriving in society. They have 17 men right now housed in 4 different houses. Again, Emmanuel Promise of Hope. How can folks get more information about your ministry if they want to learn more?
You could go to our website, www.emmanuelpromiseofhope.com, and everything is right there.
EmmanuelPromiseofHope.com. Again, EmmanuelPromiseofHope.com. Thank you both for your time.
Thank you for your time.
And your amazing work for the kingdom.
Thank you.
We're cheering for you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you guys.
It's just about 7:30 here. Coming up in a few minutes, David Mullane joins us from Yost Insurance to answer your Medicare questions. We know you have questions because there's all those parts. There's part A, B, C, F, X. Yes. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't think I ever will. So we need guys like David. He'll answer your questions. Call or text right now. 440-546-2255.
50-yard line at a football game or the orchestra section in a theater. People know there's value in having the best possible angle on the action. But Dr. Tony Evans says we often settle for much less when our perspective is most important. He'll tell us why as we spend 2 minutes with Tony.
If you really want to know about traffic trends, turn on the radio or TV and listen to somebody who's in a helicopter, because they give you traffic reports. And they tell you what's happening in this highway, this highway, this highway, this highway, because they high up looking down. If you're on the ground, you're going to be stuck in traffic because you don't see what they see. You do not see the big picture. And God operates from up there, from heavenly places, from the spiritual realm. To put it another way, until we trade in human wisdom for divine wisdom, we'll stay stuck in life's traffic. Personal traffic, family traffic, circumstantial traffic, sin traffic, and even when we get off the ramp. Because you ever got off the ramp to get out of traffic only to be in ramp traffic? And that's how many of us live our lives. We use human understanding to get out of this to wind up with that. But if you learn to operate from where you are truly seated, which is in heavenly places, you're looking at things totally different because you're looking at it from God's perspective, not from man's perspective. Authority works where Jesus Christ rules, where his jurisdiction exists.
Learn how to start using the power God gave you when you submitted your life to him. Check out Tony's CD series, Igniting Kingdom Prayer, available online at tonyevans.org. Then join us next time for 2 Minutes with Tony.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that is Medishare. And maybe you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for health care can save many families up to $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The member satisfaction rate for
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
Ron. Yeah. That was Brent Jones. It's 7:36 WCRF, Mornings with Brian. If you're missing the live stream, you're missing out. Lauren's facial expressions are worth the price of admission, which is free, by the way, but still.
I didn't even change my face.
Yes, you did. You know, the look you give me, the look she gives me. Just go watch the stream. You'll know what I'm talking about. Text live to 440-546-2255. Also, remember our share campaign starts Tuesday. We need a bunch of you to give early because we need to get to our goal of 25% before the campaign begins. We're at 19.91. We need you. Text SHARE to 440-546-2255. Text SHARE to 440-546-2255. All right, the coolest guy in Medicare insurance is about to join us. If that's a title, he's got it. David Mullane is Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Medicare at Yost Insurance. Welcome back, David.
Thanks, Brian. That's a great title. I think I'm going to put that on a T-shirt later today.
Oh, you totally should. Yeah.
I think I might. It's really good, actually. The coolest guy in Medicare.
And now, speaking of T-shirts, side note, Lauren was impressed with, at Walkworthy, one of our speakers, James Ford, had his wife, her picture on his T-shirt.
Yeah, that's very sweet.
And she was like, oh, I wish Eddie did that.
I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
No, I did not say that.
You wished it. I feel like, David, you should have your wife's picture on it as well.
I could totally do that. I'm going to recommend that to her tonight, and she'll probably say no, but I'll let her know that you are the one that gave me the idea.
Excellent. Well done. All right. Dr. David Mullane's here to answer your Medicare questions because, let's be honest, Medicare is crazy confusing. 440-546-2255. Call or text. We got a bunch already. You ready to go?
I'm here. I'm ready. Let's get at it.
Once on Medicare, do I have to have Medicare Advantage plan? What advantages are there to having one?
Oh, I see what they did there.
Yeah, so that's a really, really great question to get us started because it kind of lays the framework for much of the work that we do as insurance agents with people that are on Medicare. And so most people, when you age into Medicare or when you retire and you pick up Medicare for the first time, you're going to get from the government what's called Medicare Part A and Part B. I did hear Brian say earlier, Medicare Part Z. That's not a real thing if you heard that earlier.
Is there a J?
Well, let's not go too far down the road
okay.
of supplement plans. So most people have original Medicare A and B. And then with that, they either pick up what's called a Medicare supplement plan with a standalone prescription drug plan. So you would have original Medicare A and B provided to you through the government. And then that supplement would pay some or most of your costs in certain cases for your medical bills or your hospitalization associated with that plan. And with that, you would have prescription coverage and maybe some extra coverage for vision or dental and things like that. The other option that we have is what that question asks is you can get what's called a Medicare Advantage plan. And that also has a letter. The government calls that Medicare Part C. And that's going to be sort of a comprehensive plan provided by an insurance carrier that includes almost everything under that one plan. So your hospitalization, your medical care, in certain cases, vision, dental, hearing aids, and some of that over-the-counter money and things that you see advertised on TV all the time. So it's going to be one of those two options, a Medicare supplement plan or a Medicare Advantage plan. Most people are going to have one of those in addition to original Medicare, but not both.
All right. Again, get your Medicare questions in. We have David with us until 8 o'clock, so call or text right now, 440-546-2255. What's next, Lauren?
I'm set to retire from my public school position June 30th, 2024. I am 70. I'm looking into health insurance, and yesterday I met with a rep from a large insurance company who promoted their Medicare Advantage plan. It offers 0 copay doctor visits, free dental and vision exams, free generic meds, no deductible, but $3,000 copay. The biggest selling point is their 0 monthly premium. Others say to get a supplement plan such as Medicare D. What are your thoughts?
So something really important that was in that question was the very first sentence, which is, I believe that listener is retiring from a public teaching position.
Yes.
So if you are part of a public teaching position, especially in Ohio, you have your own option available through your retirement program, through state teachers' retirement system. And so it's really critical that if you're part of that group or you're part of the OPERS or some of these other state union retirement plans, or you're any kind of a public employee, that you meet with an agent who's going to not only talk to you about the options that we have available to you through the carriers, but make sure that you understand the unique benefit options that you have through that retirement choice. And so for that listener, what I would first recommend is make sure that you understand what's available to you through your union group or like the state teachers retirement system in Ohio. And then we can compare that plan to what's available to you widely in the broader market. But make sure that you have that information in hand whenever you talk to somebody and that you have full understanding, because there's certain benefits that are afforded to you that no one else can get other than people that are in that group.
Interesting. So should they call the teachers union office in the state? Like, what's the best place to start to learn more about that?
Yeah, they certainly can. STRS has agents in-house who will go over that plan option with that person. We train all of our agents to know and have knowledge of those state plans and to be able to show that information alongside of what we have. And just like everything else, it really does come down to the individual as to which option is going to be best for you. For some people, it is completely advantageous to jump into that sponsored plan through their employer group. And for others, depending on their health in certain situations, they might be further ahead taking one from the private market. So, definitely reach out to that group like you recommended, Brian, or connect with a broker, who takes that time and cares enough to go over that option. Even though if I help you, arrive at that decision and you go with that state teachers retirement system plan, I don't get paid anything for that. And so some agents don't want to show you that and make sure that that option's on the table, because they're not going to get compensated unless you sign up with a plan under them. So this is such a critical question, and it comes down to that focus on taking care of people that we want all of our agents that we work with across the state of Ohio and Pennsylvania to have first and foremost in their mind.
Perfect. 440-546-2255.
After you've signed up, does Medicare start on your first birthday month, or does it start on the day of your birthday?
So this is where we get into the weeds of confusion with Medicare. So that question says when you sign up, and so my response is when you sign up for which piece, right? So a lot of confusion centers around the fact that our government uses the word Medicare in multiple ways with different meanings. So first and foremost, Medicare is an entity, right? So just like when Rob is on the air talking about Social Security is an entity. Medicare is also a federal entity. And that's a really important distinction, because agents like me, we do not represent the federal Medicare program. We are licensed insurance agents who can offer you plans that carry the Medicare name. They fall under the Medicare umbrella. And so that's the first really important distinction. So if that listener is asking when they sign up for Original Medicare, Part A and Part B, when does that go into effect? The answer is it really does depend. And so anybody that's signing up for Original Medicare, Part A and B for the first time, you have an enrollment window. And that enrollment window is going to give you, it all centers around the month of your birth, okay? So if you're born in June, you have the 3 months before June, you have the month of June, and you have the 3 months after June to sign up for Original Medicare Part A and B without any penalties. And generally speaking, if you do that during any of those months, 3 before, the month of your birth, 3 months after, your plan coverage starts the first of the month after the plan gets your request. So we're typically looking at the first of the following month. The one exception in there, I know I'm saying a lot for this, but it's sort of an important question. If I sign up 3 months before my birth month, in most cases, my Medicare is going to start the first day of the month that I'm born in. And I would honestly say this is one of the most confusing things about Medicare. This is probably what we spend a good portion of our time talking to. in addition to what I started this session off with, which is, those two options, Medicare Advantage or MedSup.
There's a second part to this question we'll get to in just a moment here because it's a separate question, really. But again, David Mullane with us from Yost Insurance, answering your questions about Medicare. Got a few minutes left. 440-546-2255.
You're thinking through changes that you'd like to make in your life. We recommend that you consider a life of worship. It goes beyond the walls of the church building and to every area of life. To help you develop a lifestyle of worship, we're offering a free list of helpful ideas, tools, and resources. Go to moodyradio.org/resources. Begin living your life of worship today. That's moodyradio.org/resources.
A big problem you didn't know you had. Envy. It is there inside of almost every person hearing my voice right now. That pervasive, corrosive thing that if it's left unchecked will cause all kinds of serious damage. Hi, I'm Mike Fabarez, and Envy is the name of my new book, and I'm going to share biblical ways you can shore up your heart and your mind and close those gaps of vulnerability. So get ready for a new kind of life, a life Christ intended. Get your copy of Envy. Go to moodybooks.org.
Helping you take the next step in your walk with Jesus. It's Mornings with Brian on Moody Radio, Cleveland.
Here we are. Dave Szfranski will answer your financial questions coming up after the 8 o'clock news. You can get those in 440-546-2255. But for now, we're talking Medicare with our friend David Mullane, Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Medicare at Yost Insurance. And he's here to answer those questions now. We got lots of them. David, you ready for more?
Yeah, let's go.
Is COBRA insurance considered acceptable insurance prior to moving to Medicare?
Yeah, so a lot of people will end up on COBRA in a gap year or a gap month or 4 or 5 months before they're eligible for Medicare. The one important distinction is, so when you're eligible for Medicare Part A and B, you can't continue COBRA beyond that eligibility. So if you're on COBRA and you're turning 65 next month and you're eligible for Medicare, you cannot choose to stay on COBRA without the government giving you late enrollment penalties for original Medicare at whichever point you would decide to join. So COBRA is perfect for that space between maybe leaving an employer plan and being eligible for Medicare, but just make sure if you're aging into Medicare or you're already old enough, like above the age of 65, to qualify for Medicare, that you don't stay on COBRA, because you could start to accrue late enrollment penalties.
And COBRA's pretty expensive, if I remember correctly, isn't it?
Yeah, it can be. It's a percentage of the cost of the employer plan that you had at the time. So, but a lot of times for folks, it could be the right choice for them in that interim. But I could tell you it is a joyous day when we get to help somebody transition to Medicare off of COBRA in most cases.
Oh, yeah, that was the case for my parents as well. My dad was counting the moments until he could jump onto Medicare. So 440-546-2255.
Does original Medicare cost money? Do you have to get a supplemental plan?
Yeah, so original Medicare, again, it's Parts A and Parts B, Part B rather. Part A is going to be your hospital coverage, generally speaking. There's a lot more to it than that, but it's going to, we call it your room and board at the hospital. So it's going to pay for those facility fees for the most part. Most Americans, most people that have lived here their entire lives have what's called premium-free Part A. They don't typically have a premium that they have to pay for Part A. But everyone, unless you're someone that might have government assistance, is going to pay a Part B premium. And so that Part B premium, these are great questions today, by the way. I'm so glad that this one's being asked. Your Part B premium is income driven, right? And so this is where it's really important that we start to understand what Medicare looks like prior to us aging into Medicare at 65. So when the government determines your Part B premium, they have a 2-year look back, and they're looking back at your modified adjusted gross income from 2 years ago. And that amount, and whether or not you filed individually, jointly, or married and separate, right? That's how we can file taxes. Those are our options. That amount is going to dictate to some degree what your Part B premium is. And so we love to meet with folks, with our partners in the finance industry, like Dave, who I think I heard is coming up later.
Yep.
With people who are 62 or 63 or 61, to make sure that they understand that their tax filings at that age, at age 63, can have a direct bearing on the premium at 65. But generally, for most people, the Part B premium this year is $174.70 a month.
Okay. Excellent. Perfect. Thank you so much. We got more questions than we probably have time for, so we'll plug through here.
My father has Medicare and signed up during open enrollment. With Anthem, he did it himself and does not remember if he has any coverage for things like incontinent products or things like that. How can I find out what program he signed up for?
So there's a couple of things that you can do, and that happens a lot, right? People will sign up for a plan and not know all the details. Whoever that caller is or that listener is, I would encourage you to take your father's ID card and call customer service and have them send you what's called a summary of benefits and an explanation of benefits. The summary of benefits is going to be a shorter overview of all the coverage that your father has. And that explanation of benefits is going to be it's going to be over 200 pages long. It's going to tell you everything that plan includes for your dad. And this is super important as well. It's not like it used to be where you're stuck on a Medicare Advantage plan for the entire year. So right now, this isn't something we're allowed to market, so you're not going to see billboards and mail and TV commercials for this. But we're in what's called the Medicare Advantage open enrollment period. It goes from January 1 through March 31, and it gives you a one-time chance to change or maybe drop your Medicare Advantage plan and go back to original Medicare if you choose to. So if for some reason you find out that plan is not good for your dad, that's why the government has this period of time at the beginning of the year for exactly this situation. Someone signed up for something, they didn't really know entirely what it was, and maybe you as a loved one find out that they're paying too much or their doctor's not in network. You have this opportunity this time of year to make that one change to make sure that you're well taken care of. But I would advise either calling that carrier, or if you want to reach out to us, we would be happy to help you try to get that information as well.
Perfect. What's next, Lauren?
With cybersecurity hacking and the change of healthcare 2 weeks ago, my ability to receive Medicare Part B prescriptions due to the system being down is delayed. Do you have any idea as when the system will be back to functioning and how much of my personal information was compromised?
Now, that is going to be a little bit outside of my purview, but there was an issue with the Medicaid verification system, I believe.
Oh.
I haven't heard of anything affecting Part B enrollments, but just because I didn't hear of it doesn't mean it's not a thing, right? So I don't want to toss your question to the side. What I would recommend to you, so when you sign up for original Medicare, Part A and Part B, that is through your local Social Security office. So that's going to be your best point of contact to get a status update on your application and to maybe find out, when that coverage is going to go into effect. We do have in the industry, these are separate from Medicare, but there are short-term health solutions that you can pick up a plan for 1 month or 2 months. So my recommendation to you would be, contact a licensed insurance agent and at least make sure you have a catastrophic 1 month coverage plan, just in case something, horrible would happen. We want to make sure that you don't have extreme out-of-pocket costs while you're waiting for that Medicare Part B to go into effect. But contact your local Social Security office would be my recommendation.
Okay. Why isn't Medicare Plan N mentioned more often? I have it and only has $1,500 out-of-pocket expense as far as hospitals, and I pay $145 a month for it. So I guess, is there a secret why it's so good and no one else knows about it?
So I'm telling you, these are the best questions I think I've ever had. So
No, they are really good.
Hats off to you guys for screening in some really great questions today.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Brian didn't do anything.
That's true.
So Medicare Part N is going to be one of the supplement plan options that you have. And that's where, Brian, when you were mentioning all those letters earlier, there is not a J, but there is an N.
Oh, good. Makes sense.
Medicare supplement plans, here's where we get real confusing. You have Medigap Plan A Plan B, Plan C, Plan D, Plan F, Plan F high deductible, Plan G, Plan K, Plan L, Plan M, and here we are, Plan N.
Why skip letters? What's that about? Is there an explanation for that?
There is. So they've had other letters in place, and they've since retired those plans.
Oh.
So we used to have a Plan F, which was an amazing Medicare supplement plan. Basically, you paid your premium, and they covered all of your out-of-pocket healthcare costs. But that has since retired.
Yeah, they got rid of that.
Yeah, a lot of people had that. Plan G is similar. You have a deductible that you pay, and then most of your Medicare or most of your medical costs are picked up by the plan in original Medicare. So some of these other letters like N, certainly that is a plan that some folks do have. But what you kind of seen the shift that's happened, especially in Ohio in recent years, is the benefits of Plan N with what you're paying in premium. So you're paying a high premium, $140, $150 a month. A lot of people that we meet with, when they look at Plan N, especially at that point in time, if you're paying a premium to what you're paying, they look more at Medicare Advantage at that point. So it certainly is an option, but it does all come down to the individual. We certainly have some folks on that, but I would say most of the people that we meet with, if we present them with Plan N and go over the coverage, they're going to probably lean towards a Medicare Advantage plan for a handful of reasons. So,
but you're saying that $145 a month is pretty expensive for a premium when you're on Medicare?
I wouldn't say it's expensive for a premium when you're on Medicare. I would say that is a lot of money for what Plan N gives relative to other options for most people, right? There are certainly people who Plan N is a right pathway for, but this is the work that we do, right? We sit down, we get to know you, we see what your needs are, and then we show you these options and try to make them all make sense so you can choose the one that's most appropriate to your needs.
Okay. All right. I think we have time for what? One more, Lauren?
Sure. My husband just got Medicare supplement. I'm amazed what the Advantage plans gives for free. I'll be getting it in about a year. If I understand, Advantage has to get authorization and the copays can really add up. What do you think?
So some Advantage plans do require prior authorization to see a specialist or for procedures, and others actually do not anymore. So certain Medicare Advantage plans in our market, you can go to a specialist without getting that prior authorization, or you can go get an MRI without, maybe getting a screen through your primary care physician first. So when you look at Medicare Advantage plans, it's really important that you understand whether or not that's a component of it. And to that listener's question, you want to understand what your copays are and how those relate to your individual health and what your out-of-pocket costs might be that year. And then every Medicare Advantage plan has a really important number called a maximum out-of-pocket amount. So in Ohio, they range everywhere from, the low $3,000 up to it could be $8,000 or $9,000 or $10,000 on certain plans. And so you want to make sure that you know that number, and that that's a number that you would be comfortable with if you had a really, really difficult health year. Where Medicare supplement plans are going to do the opposite. So what your husband has, like we just said a minute ago, he might pay a higher premium than what you pay on a Medicare Advantage plan, but his out-of-pocket cost in a given year outside of that premium, like what he pays at the doctor, what he pays in copays, is going to be dramatically lower in a lot of cases than what he might pay in an Advantage plan. And so in one situation, like if you go with a Medicare Advantage plan, you're banking on the fact that you're going to be healthy for the most part, right? You're saying, I'm going to take this lower premium or maybe no premium. And if I have a copay or two, that's okay. With a Medicare supplement plan, you're paying a higher amount each month for that plan, but you're looking at it and saying, if something happens, my out-of-pocket costs are going to be much lower. And that's the pathway that I feel more comfortable with.
All right. Once again, this has been our conversation here on Mornings with Brian on WCRF with Dr. David Mullane. He's Vice President of Strategic Partnerships and Medicare at Yost Insurance, YOST, Yost Insurance Agency. We're super grateful for him lending his expertise to us to answer your questions. He'll come back next month as well. If you want to reach out to him, the best way to do it is just come to us. Just send us a text, go to our website, and we'd love to connect you with Yost Insurance and our friend Dr. David Mullane. Thanks again, brother. Be sure to give all of our friends at Old North Church a hard time, especially Pastor Dan Osborne, okay?
I'm actually having lunch with him on April 1st, and I'm encouraging that lunch meeting to be at Chuck E. Cheese so that I can get you some video of him playing in that ball pit.
I fully endorse that decision. Thank you. I would love, I look forward to that. Thank you very much.
You bet.
We'll talk next time, brother.
Thanks a lot. Have a great day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Do you guys ever take Trey to Chuck E. Cheese?
No, he can't eat anything there, so why would I?
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's rude.
I always just feel like I go in there and I go, have they ever cleaned any of these things?
Oh, no, yeah.
I don't think they have.
We went to Chick-fil-A once, and he went in there, and I was just terrified the whole time. I was like, who knows what that man is touching in there?
Yeah, because I don't see people crawling around with
No,
sanitizer
exactly.
wipes.
You want to go a whole grown adult going in there and like wiping down every single ball pit ball?
Jimmy does it.
He goes in every
What?
single ball pit ball.
Not I don't know if that
They don't have
they
ball
still
pits?
have ball pits. But
Okay.
he'll go in and he's 6'3" and he'll clean the play
They
place.
need someone other than Jimmy going in there.
Well, the other person was pregnant, so he he
that's
drew
fair.
the short straw.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what a great, he's such a great
Jimmy's
guy.
best.
He is.
Shout out Jimmy.
We love Jimmy. 802, speaking of people we love, Dave Szfranski's going to be with us in just a minute. He's president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group, and he's ready to answer your financial questions.
From Florida.
Yeah, he's suffering for Jesus in Florida right now.
Visiting his wife.
Yeah. She's retired from teaching and
Yeah.
living her best life in Florida without Dave. So
Basically, he's chasing his wife who left him.
Essentially, yes.
Reuniting their dogs because they each took one for the winter.
Yeah, that's so
sad.
mean to the dogs. Goodness sakes. All right, so get your questions in now before it's too late. 440-546-2255.
With Brian on Moody Radio Cleveland, WCRF Cleveland, WVMS Sandusky, WVML Millersburg, WVMN Newcastle, WVME Meadville, WVMU Ashtabula, and everywhere with the Moody Radio app or at moodyradio.org/Cleveland.
A Russian missile struck just a few hundred feet from where Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky was meeting with the Prime Minister of Greece on Wednesday. It is 8:04. I'm Ron Eastwood, Moody Radio News. It happened in the Ukrainian port of Odessa. Sources say it's doubtful Zelensky was the target, and it was likely just a regular Russian strike. Aldi has announced its intention to take over a former Save-A-Lot store located on Ridge Road in Parma. The popular grocery store chain also has a presence at Quarry Square on Snow Road in Parma. And on Tuesday, Cuyahoga County cut the ribbon on 2020 Lakeside Avenue, a brand new homeless shelter intended as a sibling operation to the next-door men's shelter at 2100, which Cuyahoga County has been overseeing in partnership with the Lutheran Metropolitan Ministry for almost 2 decades. I'll be right back with sports and weather.
No matter your age or season of life, there's always something more to learn and skills to gain. Moody and Rich is Moody Bible Institute's new lifelong learning venue. The focus is on personal enrichment and professional development through video courses and e-courses, starting at just $14.99. You'll gain life-changing understanding of Scripture and expand your ministry and professional skills. Explore the courses that may be of help and interest to you. Go to moody.edu/enrich. moody.edu/enrich.
In sports, the Cavaliers fell to the Hawks, 112-101. Here's your Moody Radio Cleveland forecast. Cloudy with a slight chance of very light drizzle this morning, then partly sunny this afternoon, highs in the mid-50s. Currently cloudy and 39 in Cleveland, 37 Akron and Canton, 37 in Mansfield as well.
It's time for your moron moment.
Watching YouTube and parts of the video are boring you? Double-click the right side of a video to skip ahead 10 seconds. If the intro is still playing, you can click ahead again, double-click rather, again to skip it. And another option is to hit the right arrow, and that will help you jump ahead just 5 seconds. And that's your Moron Moment. And you'll find that on our Facebook and Instagram. It's 8:06 with Moody Radio News. I'm Ron Eastwood.
Broadcasting live from the
Mornings with Brian. Moody Radio Cleveland. 103.3 at 6 to 9 a.m.
discussed during this program represent the opinions of the participants and is given for informational purposes only. Any information provided is not intended to replace professional advice for your specific situation.
It's time. David Szfranski is here from Florida via Skype to answer your financial questions. Get ready. Here he comes. Hey, Dave.
Hey, I laugh in the face of your disclaimer.
No, you don't. You like it.
Yeah, it makes you feel dangerous.
It's so me.
Did your wife remember you when you arrived in Florida?
No, but the dog did. That was encouraging because she bites.
Dogs are so excited when they get to see you after a long time. Dogs are always excited to see you. Kids, no. My kids are bored when I arrive. My wife sometimes is happy to see me. So
yeah, she hands you the list of things to do. The dog doesn't do that.
Did you get that in Florida?
You know, I did an experiment yesterday just to see, and I took Levon and the dog and I shoved him in the trunk of my rental car, and I walked away for 2 hours, and then I came back and I opened up the trunk, and guess who was happy to see me? The dog.
Of course, he's kidding. It's a joke. He didn't actually do that. I've met Levon. She'd take him down.
It's a joke. I would never shove my wife in the trunk again.
Again, he says. All right, 440-546-2255. Financial questions for Dave Szfranski.
First, I found out last week that Dave's dogs' names are not actually TJ and Max.
Yeah, what's that about?
I'm very upset about that.
Oh.
I thought it was so funny and witty, and now it's not.
Well, wait a minute. Lauren, it was funny and witty. It was one of the funnier things I've ever said on the radio.
Yes.
And we adopted the dogs, and they came with the names Pixie and Penny. But had we gotten them from their birth mother and taken them and all that, we would have named them TJ and Max. So it is funny and witty. Pixie and Penny.
Oh, yeah. I see. So tough guy Dave just didn't want to admit that his dogs' names were Pixie and Penny. Is that what that was?
Maybe.
It's like when people ask me what kind of dog I have. I have 2 dogs. One of them I have to give a caveat because he's a newfie poo.
Yeah. Oh my God.
That just sounds so wimpy. I'm like, he's mixed with a a Newfoundland and a full-size poodle. Like
He's a big guy.
You wait on the poodle part.
He's a big guy.
Brian, could you just say the name of that dog one more time?
I'm sorry, what are your dogs' names? Little Pixie Dust.
A newfie.
Do you snuggle with Pixie?
I do, actually. She's a hugger. And, with my wife being in Florida and it's cold in the winter, Pixie loves the cuddle. So I have to push her away because she's a true hot dog. She's cooks at a high temperature. So I'm like, Pixie, please, we've had enough cuddling for one day.
Dogs are so great. I just love dogs.
I'm going to need you to send me pictures of them, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Little Penny, who might bark if the mailman comes by. They come by, or they do everything early here because everybody goes to bed at 4:15.
Dinner's at 2.
The mail gets delivered early. Everything happens early here, so you may hear her deep and foreboding bark.
Okay,
it's probably a little chirp. Do you have a little backpack for her? You carry her around in?
Little stroller.
I would never have that kind of dog. I make fun of those people.
Yeah, except we don't really know for sure that you don't. So here we go. Okay. All right, 440-546-2255.
My wife and I are meeting with our banker on Saturday morning to discuss what our options are to invest money we have inherited. So there's not really a question there, but I'm going to assume the question is, what are some options that we should discuss with our banker of how to invest?
Well, it shows you how much that banker wants to sell an annuity because he's meeting on Saturday. So be very careful.
We don't do annuities. Is that right, Dave?
Well, it's not that we don't. It's just that I had somebody come to me one time and they said, hey, my oil's a little low. What should I do? And if you were talking to a banker, they would say, I think you should buy an annuity. So it's not the answer to every question. And for some people it is. So I think annuities are really niche products. So I think you're looking at maybe 10 to 15% of the population should be having a discussion about annuities. Most people shouldn't. So there's a lot of options. And I think what you do when there's a time like this in your life, you've inherited money, It's going to enhance your financial position. I think you look at things like, do I have credit card debt? Do I have any high interest debt? So, if somebody buys a car today, they're going to pay an 8%, and they finance it, they're going to pay 8%, certainly north of 7% to buy a car right now if you're going to finance it. And so I would look for things. I go through a sifting process, Lauren, where we look at, okay, is my emergency fund sufficient? Is my consumer debt paid off? Do I have any other high interest rate debts? Do I have enough money in the inheritance to maybe knock out my mortgage payment? So this process that I go through when people have a financial change like this, I think is really important for them to go through. It's an important exercise to do because your financial positions change. So you have to look at everything. There may be money that you want to add to your budget monthly. There may be things that you haven't done, house repairs or something like that, that need to be done. So that's really the process, not just about investing. I mean, investing is important because at some point in time, most people do want to retire, and whether they go to South Florida or not is up to them. But these things that you do at a time like this, I think, are really critical because whatever you do, if you put it into an annuity or you put it into investments or you pay stuff off, it's going to impact your finances for several years. So these are big decisions.
And also, I can't help but bring up again, we do need matching gifts for Cher. I mean, I'm sorry, but I as a joke earlier in the week, I'm like, all these people who call and say, I have so much money, Dave. What do I do with all this money? We remind people that when they ask those questions, they're talking to a listener-supported radio station. So maybe pray about either a one-time gift or a larger gift to use for a match. We need people in advance of the campaign to give us, the $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 gifts to motivate others to give. So just throwing that out there.
You're able to ask these questions on this radio station because of donors. So
right.
That's next week, isn't it? Next week.
It's
yes, you're going to be with us every single day, Tuesday through Friday. Don't forget.
I know. I can't believe it.
I can't either. She didn't ask me, Dave. That's for sure. All right, 440-546.
It wasn't my idea.
Florida this week.
You can call the radio station or text us if you want more information about what to do with all the money you don't know what to do with. 440-546-2255. Or also just, again, if you want to get in one of those one-time gifts or set up a monthly donation, we'd be super grateful. It's people like you that keep us going. Text SHARE to 440-546-2255. More with Dave coming up.
The words you are about to hear are taken from letters sent in by members of the Trinity Debt Management Program.
Dear Trinity, today I'm making my final credit card payment.
Before I came to you, I was in a constant state of anxiety and panic, but now there is hope for my family's financial future.
Working with Trinity made me understand that I'm not alone.
You really do help people.
Your kindness will never be forgotten.
Without Trinity support, I would not have achieved my lifelong goal of becoming debt-free.
We saved a lot on interest and penalties, of course, but the reward was the gift of human kindness.
Trinity has carried me through a very difficult time in my life. You're amazing.
I used to feel so anxious and hopeless. Now I feel grace and peace.
God bless Trinity as you continue to help others become debt-free.
If credit card debt has you down, call Trinity at 1-800-659-9838. That's 1-800-659-9838.
Pastors have to make tons of decisions, including what to do to meet healthcare needs for themselves and their staff. Christian Healthcare Ministries specializes in making healthcare decisions easy and affordable. Not insurance, but a health cost sharing ministry for over 40 years. CHM opens the door for individuals, families, and yes, pastors to be a part of a biblical way to meet medical bills. Get more information and answers to your questions at chministries.org/Moody. That's chministries.org/Moody.
I remember we met at a Starbucks over here, and I made you and Scott Cruz buy me coffee because you had punished me one time in Chicago with like a $14 cup of coffee.
I met you for coffee there knowing that we didn't have space for you in the schedule.
You were such a jerk.
And I got a really expensive coffee.
I don't remember who referred me to you. I think it was
our friend Steve Hiller, who now hosts the morning show in Nashville.
So Steve said, so how was your meeting? I'm like, well, he's a little abrupt.
I think I talked to you for a while. It was hot. I had to let it cool off. Yeah. While I drank it.
Yeah. It was the longest drink that you could order at Starbucks.
Yeah, I was like, let's see, what's the most expensive thing? I'll take two, thanks. It's on him.
And also, you can't come on our show.
That's exactly what I did tell him that. But listen, look at how the Lord worked it out.
That's right.
Somebody buy me a drink.
I think my favorite part of that is you had to let a Starbucks drink cool. They are served tepid.
They are tepid, Daria. That is so true.
I was trying to make myself not look that bad, but it didn't really work.
It's probably a Frappuccino.
I do not
And you
order
needed it to warm up.
Frappuccinos.
The pink ones.
I don't get
Strawberries and
cold
cream.
ones, but-
Listen, it was the name of a drink that is a lot like his dog, that Newfie Poo.
Could I get a venti Newfie Poo? Thank you.
You should order that. They'll probably just make it.
No whip, though. No whip. Okay, here's we got Mary on the line from Cleveland with questions for Dave Szfranski here on Mornings with Brian. What's your question, Mary?
Good morning. Hope the weather's nice there, Dave. My question
Oh, it's so
is,
beautiful. So beautiful.
well, I'm heading to California next week, so I'll be happy out there. My
don't
question
think so.
is, I'm heading. I am going to be retiring soon. I'm hoping sooner than later. I'll be 67 in May. My question is, my husband has a financial person. I have a financial person. My financial person, I'm in education. Talked to me. Well, didn't talk to me. Yeah, he kind of did. He just put my funding in annuity. And so, but he keeps saying, whenever I bring up this, like, I don't think annuities are good. He always says, oh, these are not this, it's a fixed annuity, it's this. And so I am never clear on that. But my question is, should we put all our funds in one financial planner? Because we don't always stay on top of things. And I'm just wondering if that would be our best move. Moving forward.
Your annuity reminds me a lot of the Ginsu Knives commercials. I don't know if you remember those.
I loved those. The guy cut a quarter
Yeah, I
in
know,
half.
remember? But the most important part was when they would say, but wait, there's more. And not only do you have an annuity, but wait, there's more. It's a fixed annuity. That's even worse. So for
what is
educators.
that? Yeah. But what does that mean, Dave? For people who don't know what a fixed annuity is.
Okay, a fixed annuity means it has absolutely no market exposure. There's no stock market exposure. There's just a guaranteed interest rate, which, if there's one thing I know about guarantees, is they guarantee that you're never going to outperform the market. That's what they guarantee. And for educators, they have this what's called a 403B. They can, if you are an employee of a school system, a nonprofit, a state organization, you could have a 403B, and generally they are in annuity. So that's one kind of captured market where you have to use the annuity products to participate in the 403Bs for most school systems. So I don't really have a problem with that. You didn't have a choice. So, but when you go to retire, what you could do is you could take that 403B, and it's almost like a 401k for educators, a private 401k, and you can transfer that tax-free, penalty-free to your own IRA. And I think in retirement, I probably would combine your finance people just so that you're kind of fighting on a unified front, because you're going to retire. Odds are you're going to live to be 95 years old. Brian probably won't, but everybody else hearing my voice probably will. But I think it's important to kind of get unity of thought in those retirement assets, because they are going to provide a valuable service for you. They're going to keep you out of the dog food aisle when you go shopping for your own food. That's what's going to allow you to outgrow inflation, and you could still afford steak and chicken and things like that instead of going to the Dinty Moore section of the grocery store. Oh my gosh, it's so bad for you, but it's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
I'm actually, to your point, Dave, I'm having a neon colored Pop-Tart for breakfast today. So you're probably right.
Of course you are.
Red dye number something is in there. I'll tell you that.
Yes.
So,
good for you, Brian.
So Mary, they should probably merge a financial planner.
Yeah, I like merging.
Get on the same page.
As long as you still have a comfort level with that person, and you don't have to be on they don't have to be on your Christmas card list, but I do think there needs to be a little bit of a simpatico there with you guys, where you don't dread seeing that person. Like if you have to, like go to a counseling appointment before you see your financial person, I think you need to find a new financial person. So assuming that there is a decent relationship there and you trust their advice, I think I probably would combine them just so you could kind of be on the same page.
Okay. What is the best way to finance home repairs, with a HELOC or something else can be considered? My credit is only fair and I have about $50,000 in equity. By the way, this is my favorite hour of the listening week.
It's their first text, it looks like, too, ever in the show. Thanks so much for listening and texting.
That's fantastic. Well, my favorite way to do it would be with either your emergency fund. If this is an emergency home repair, that's what your emergency fund is for, or what I call target savings, where you say, hey, I'm going to replace the windows on the back of the house next year. I'm going to save the X amount of dollars that it's going to take to do that. And then you fund it without a cash or with cash. But absent of that, you can use a home equity line of credit to do that. It's not a bad thing to do. It's not the worst thing to do. It's not my favorite thing, but your house is an appreciating asset. So if we were to compare your house with like your car, and you said, well, Brian lives in Amish country, so it's a house and a buggy. And let's say he wanted to put spinner rims on his buggy. Well, that's not a good investment because that's a depreciating asset.
It'd be cool, though. Yeah.
It would be cool. I'm sure there's Amish people that have spinners. But if your appreciating asset of your house, as you improve that thing and you take care of it, you're actually helping the value of it. So the thing that I would want to control is interest rate, and interest rates are high right now. And it just so happened that yesterday and today, I want you guys to prepare yourself. Yesterday and today, the Fed chairman, his name, Chair Powell, was testifying in front of Congress, and today he's going to testify in front of the Senate. Yesterday was the House, today's the Senate. And one of the things that he said was, and I do believe this is true, I think he's genuinely a pretty honorable guy, but he was saying that, we don't need to get inflation down to 2% to start cutting rates. If inflation was at 2%, and we still had this high rate, it would be unnaturally and prohibitively high. So as inflation does come down, which, by the way, it's not doing right now, it's stuck at 3%, but they are going to probably lower rates this year at some point in time. So you'll get a better look at interest rates. And the thing about most home equity lines of credit is they're variable. So as rates go down, those rates tend to go down. Of course, it never goes down quite as fast as they go up. So be prepared for that. But I don't think that a home equity line is the worst thing to do to repair your house.
All right. We got Dave Szfranski with us, president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group. You're listening to WCRF and Mornings with Brian. We love talking about today's issues from a biblical perspective. One of those ways is to look at finances. And Dave joins us each Thursday to do that. If you're new to us, welcome. We'll get to a break here and come back with more of Dave's answers for your financial questions. 440-546-2255.
What does it mean to persist in the faith? This is Moody Bible Institute's daily devotional, Today in the Word. I'm Donna Leland. It's sad but true. Drifting away from God comes naturally. Today in the Word, we're warned in Hebrews 3:12. See to it, brothers and sisters, that none of you has a sinful, unbelieving heart that turns away from the living God. It's one thing to struggle with sin and wrestle with our doubts. All believers face such trials. It's something else to turn away from God. Well, some turn from God by blatantly choosing sin. Those the author warns were in danger of taking a different path. They were tempted to replace Jesus with a righteousness that was of their own making. They committed the same sin as those who first received the law. Unbelief kept them from experiencing God's rest. To guard against this, the author calls for vigilance and encouragement. Individually, they were to examine their hearts and root out unbelief. Collectively, they were to encourage each other in the faith. The kind of faith God desires from those who follow Jesus is as enduring as it is responsive. It's not a momentary decision that's easily set aside, but a conviction that we hold firmly to the end. It doesn't harden its heart when it hears God's voice. Maybe even now you're hearing the voice of the Lord for maybe the first time. Maybe you need someone to talk to walk you through what does it mean to become a Christian and know Jesus personally. There's a number you can call. It's 1-888-NEED-HIM. 1-888-NEED-HIM. Join the family of faith today.
Kayla was in a panic when she called CareNet's pregnancy decision line. When she asked about her choices, we explained all of her options. Kayla said, "But I'm already at an abortion clinic. I'm in their bathroom." Our pregnancy decision line coach asked Kayla what she wanted to do. She said, "I want to leave." Kayla left the abortion clinic and we connected her with one of CareNet's life-affirming pregnancy centers where she could get free services and learn more about her pregnancy and her options. What you need to know is that the federal government is working on plans to fund a national abortion hotline using your tax dollars to refer women to abortion providers. The government's hotline won't tell women about all of their choices. It will be a referral line for one choice, abortion. We need you to join thousands of others who are pro-life and sign the CareNet Pledge to stand against the National Abortion Hotline. Sign the pledge now at care-net.org. That's care-net.org.
Armando, Armando, Armando. Armando, Armando, Armando.
That's the Dave Szfranski explosion there, available for your bar mitzvah, bat mitzvah, or perhaps for your wedding reception. You want that?
No one does.
No one? Okay. Well, we'll skip that then.
I so identify with that song. I just, I love when you guys play that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's one of your biggest
Glad
hits.
I could be here for
440-546-2255. Dave Szfranski with us, president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group here on Mornings with Brian, answering your financial questions. We got more. Take it away, Lauren.
Do you see car loan rates going down at the end of this year?
Well, I do think that rates are probably going to drop a little bit going into the end of the year. The Wall Street, this is sometimes the lunacy of Wall Street is early or late last year, early this year, most talking heads on Wall Street were saying, well, the Fed's going to cut 6-7 times. And I knew that wasn't going to happen. I knew that in my financial heart.
Me too.
Which is massive and deep and big. It's a big financial heart that I have.
Yeah,
and
me too.
yeah, I know. Especially when it comes to buying coffee.
Ouch. That's true.
Somebody else paying for your coffee. But I figured we probably might get 2 rate cuts. And I still kind of feel that way. The inflation is kind of stuck. There's some parts of the economy that they definitely are falling in price. And this week there's been some news about this thing called shrinkflation. Even Cookie Monster has come out and talked about shrinkflation because there's less cookies in his bag. Well, that's inflation.
I don't think that's true, by the way. Really?
What's that?
What was he like at Wall Street doing his Cookie Monster bit? What are you trying to say?
No, they were that Cookie Monster apparently has a Twitter account, and Cookie Monster was tweeting out about how there's less cookies in his bag, but the price hasn't changed, and that is true. That is definitely happening. Where you're seeing
you
serving
followed Cookie
size.
Monster.
Yeah, I do. He's an important economic barometer for people like you.
Oh my God.
Sorry, carry on. So Cookie Monster was talking.
Cookie Monster was talking about shrinkflation, and this is a real thing that happens where you look at a cereal box or a serving size, and the price hasn't changed, but the serving size has, and that is inflation. Now, the way it's depicted in the economic data, though, is it looks like prices are falling because prices did come down on that a little bit, but and
are you there?
And so,
we lost you
yes,
for a minute.
I'm here. No, I'm here.
Did you fall down? Are you okay?
You hung up on us?
No. Yeah, I'm at a dinner buffet right now, and I fell down.
Sorry, picking up where you left off.
Well, the thing is, so this shrinkflation is happening, And it doesn't really get accounted for in the inflation numbers. So inflation is stubbornly high. I do think that the Fed is going to lower rates a couple times this year. And so you will see car loans come down a little bit. But on the way down, when banks are going to make less money by lowering interest rates, you're going to see it happen slower. And it's not going to be dramatic. We're not going back to the times of just 4 years ago when you could get a mortgage at 2.5%. Those days are over. They're not coming back right now.
Those were great days, Dave.
They were great days,
Sorry,
and
Lauren.
I got one of those, and I know that you got one of those, and I feel bad for Lauren because she did not get one of those.
Yeah, she's got like 16% interest or something on her house.
Hey, Lauren, my mortgage laughs at your mortgage.
It's true, it does.
Yes, I don't deny that.
It points, too. It points and laughs. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pointing at your mortgage right now. And they're like, you see that? You see what that mortgage looks like?
Because it's what, like
7.25.
Oh, my gosh.
And that's both of your fault, your generation's fault for being bad. So that's that. Next question.
Dave is an entirely different generation. Carry on.
I'm 45-ish.
Lie.
I just looked you up on the internet before we went on. I know exactly how old you are.
She was ready. She was prepared.
I had to find your picture, and it says right under your picture how old you are.
You guys once said, Daria, you said I was like in my 60s.
You
said,
are.
like,
You're 65.
Yeah.
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, then talk to Google about that.
Tell Google.
Well, listen.
65.
I'll be honest with you. I don't always tell the truth about my age, but I'm telling the truth now when I say I am much younger than 65. Much younger.
Oh,
me and Brian got a PI to look into you, so that's our secret to keep.
And it's really true. We did.
Okay. Is it a good idea to pay off a vehicle ahead of time? In this case, 3 years ahead of time.
I don't hate that decision. I don't hate it at all.
Why would it ever be a bad idea to pay something off in advance?
Well, let's say you had 0% interest. Okay,
No,
so
right. You're taking money from people.
Well, this is just a math problem. So let's say you had 0% interest or very low. I know you guys do. That's why I'm here, because nobody in that studio does math.
That's right.
Except for me.
I use Excel. Thank you.
That's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Use the tools that you have available to you. That's why, like, when you take a class and they make you memorize all this stuff, you think, well, why am I memorizing anything right now? It's all available to me right here.
I have my Texas Instrument calculator.
Dave likes the old abacus and slide rule. They're his favorite. Uses them in his office all the time.
All 65-year-olds like that stuff, Brian. All 65-year-olds like that.
It's true.
But if you had 0% interest and you said, well, look, the car's not really costing me out of pocket anything. I'm just the payment that I would pay, versus putting that money in a money market earning 5.3 or 5.4%, or in the market and earning money like that. So I understand the idea of paying off debts, and some people have like this almost physical ailment that befalls them when they have debt. They're like, well, I can't sleep, I can't breathe, I can't walk around, I can't concentrate, my eyes are cross-eyed, I can't even think, I sweat uncontrollably when I have any debt. It's just a math problem. Settle down, okay? It's not that big of a deal. But if you say, I can't sleep at night knowing that I have debt, you should pay off the debt. Other than that, let's look at what is the smartest thing to do with money, not just pay off a debt. So it really what determines my answer is what your interest rate is. If you told me your interest rate was 7%, I'd pay it off. If you told me it was 0%, I might choose another option.
Okay, so if you had something that was higher interest rate, but is a lower monthly payment, and you could pay off the one that was a lower interest rate, so you'd have more money because you're not paying, a monthly something that's okay. So like say your monthly for something is $250, but it has a lower interest rate. Wouldn't that be better, because then you have more money in your bank to pay it off every month, like go towards the other one? Does that make sense?
It does make sense to people who don't know finances.
Okay.
Yes.
See, Dave, she's freeing up more money every month.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
It makes more. Yeah. I love the idea.
So can you explain to me why that's not a good idea?
Well, the simple, if there is a rule of thumb, which there is really no good rules of thumb.
Oh, okay then.
But you always take your highest interest rate first and just give it a bullet. And highest interest rate because all things being equal, that's taking the most money out of your pocket, even if it isn't in real terms, it's in relative terms. Yeah. So always the highest interest rates first. Now, some people.
But I need the money right now, though, Dave. How about that? Someone needs to free up that money right now.
Well, then, again, no rules of thumb that actually could be applied over a broad swath of people. But if that were the truth, if you said, look, I could pay off this debt, it frees up a lot of money. But if that were true, if you could pay off the debt and it freed up the money, well, you have the money to pay off the debt. So money is, in essence, freed up already. I would always recommend highest interest rate first and then work your way down. But sometimes people just say, look, I got to pay this off. This is the one that gives me the heartburn the most. And I'm just going to, and I get that.
Preach,
so,
Dave.
So there you go.
Lauren's got her bottle of Tums right here, so she's going heartburn, buddy. You're out on this one. I don't blame her.
Okay. Lauren, you do what you think is right.
Thank you. I will.
All right. Let's see here. Oh, we got time for more questions for the next break. Look at us go.
Would Dave know if it's true there's a penalty for a widow to cash in her spouse's IRA?
Well, first of all, I take umbrage at the question, even assuming that I wouldn't know. Okay, but I'm going to answer the question anyway.
How dare you question Dave's ability?
Yes, I am your supreme leader. And do you know how you know that's true? Because I have a sash that says that. Yep. Supreme leader.
Sashes.com. I think it was 2 for 1. There you go.
Yes. By the way, they love me. They email me. They're like, hey, do you need any more weird titles on a sash? I'm like, it just so happens I do.
It's so weird. I
they're
believe
conspiring with me. They're conspiring with me to come up with more titles that they could print on a sash because they must be slow on business. So I'm going to take them up on their offer.
You can make some for us.
Big things coming. Yes, I'm going to do that. That's a great idea, Lauren.
Thank you.
It's a great idea.
I'm afraid to know what he would put on a sash for
I'm
the 4 of us.
He'll do something nice for you because we're all scared of you.
He's not scared
He's
of me.
going to put something like princess on mine.
He's not scared of me.
I need a commitment from everybody, though, at the studio that if I do this, if I follow through on this grand and enormous plan, that you will indeed wear the sashes and pose for a picture.
I don't know if I'm agreeing to this. We'll see.
Brian?
Depends on how crass the sash is.
Never crash.
Okay,
never
then
crash.
yeah, I'll wear it.
I'm in.
Okay.
I'm in.
Ron? Yes.
Brian? Waiting on Brian.
I always fold to peer pressure. It's a problem. Okay,
the 3 of us are doing it.
Okay.
Woo! Sashes.
Yes, sashes.com just scored big.
All right, but back to this, though. Is there a penalty for a widow to cash out her husband's IRA? Is there a penalty for that?
No. Part of the Trump tax cuts, this is a part of the Trump tax cuts that I wasn't really a big fan of, is that what happened was if your spouse dies or you inherit any IRA or any IRA, you have to open up what's called a beneficiary IRA. Okay, so a beneficiary IRA, the money has to be out in 10 years, no matter what, even if you're a spouse of the deceased person. So now there is a chance that whatever product it's invested in, if there's an annuity most annuities, when there's a death and a beneficiary collects, all fees are waived to exit the product. And you should take that opportunity if you got it. But from the government, there's no fees, penalties, or anything, even if you're under the age of 59 and a half. And if you have to, let's say you're 35 and you've inherited this IRA. Well, most times, if you take money out of an IRA before 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty because you've withdrawn early. Even that's waived. So there really are no penalties to transfer a spouse's IRA into a beneficiary IRA, but the rules of withdrawal are different. You got to have the money out in 10 years, no matter what.
All right, it's 8:45. It's time for a break. If you're just tuning in, this is WCRF Mornings with Brian. Our guest, David Szfranski. Not only is he president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group, but he's 65. He's got all this experience to teach you about finances and wisdom from age and experience. Listen in for more answers to your financial questions. 440-546-2255.
Moody Radio is thankful for listeners and support from businesses like Duma Meats and Farm Market. Duma Meats and Farm Market supporting Moody Radio in Cleveland and surrounding areas. More information about Duma Meats and Farm Market is at dumameats.com.
If you're 65 or older, you know this. Seeing your healthcare costs go up and up is frustrating. And maybe you were just notified that your Medicare costs are increasing again, or you're just tired of the massive deductibles. Well, here's some good news. There's a program that can really help with this. It's MediShare 65 Plus. It's an affordable, reliable alternative. You can choose any Medicare provider. You get telehealth access anytime you need it. And MediShare 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B, and it fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. MediShare is a Christian healthcare community that aligns with your faith. People actually pray for you, they encourage you, and it's proven too. It's been going strong for over 30 years now. So call now. You can get one low monthly price for up to 10 years. You're not stuck with increasing costs. You can do something about this today. Call MediShare 65 Plus. Find out how much you can save. Call 833-59-SHARE. That's 833-59-SHARE. 833-59-SHARE.
Moody Radio is thankful for the support from our listeners and Bridgeway Homeschool Academy, proud to provide 30 years of flexible curriculum programs and one-on-one support for homeschoolers. Learn more about textbook, online, and live online homeschool classes at bridgewayacademy.com.
847, that's the Godfather of Soul right there from the greatest Rocky film of all time. Everyone knows Rocky IV. Correct. I will crush you, says Ivan Drago. Okay, this is Mornings with Brian, WCRF. With us, Dave Szfranski, president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group, answering your financial questions. He's somebody declared just now the Riz King. By the way, his official age...
No, that was me. I typed that.
No,
I did.
You
I'm
did.
looking at the text. Don't tell me what I
called
did.
you the Riz King. Dave, we do have your official
I don't even
age.
know what that means. I don't know what that means. So
No, but we through a contact had a PI look up your age. We have the answer.
Yeah. How old? How old? Tell me.
57.
Where is it?
You guys are close.
That close.
You guys are close. You're close.
I have your exact birth date in front of me, but I feel weird saying it on the radio.
we're not doing that.
The year.
Yeah, you're very close.
No,
You're
we're
very
right.
Close.
That's exactly correct.
You are
57.
correct.
I'm going to prefer to stick to 45-ish.
You don't
all
look
the
a
same.
day over
Wrong.
65. You don't look a day over 65. 440-546-2255. What's next, Lauren?
What is Dave's opinion of Bitcoin?
Here we go. Wind them up.
Sure. It's interesting because Bitcoin and gold have both hit an all-time high recently. And usually those things, Bitcoin was originally sold as kind of like, oh, if you're a drug dealer, this is a great thing to buy because nobody knows you've got the money. And so it was kind of like the currency of criminal activity. And slowly over time, it has morphed into an investment vehicle. And it's, the part about Bitcoin that I don't like is that I don't know what I'm buying. So if I buy, I'll pick a big company, Microsoft, I kind of know what I'm getting in a lot of ways. I know I'm getting a software company, a hardware company, I'm getting AI investment, I'm getting all these things. They have a real estate portfolio. With Bitcoin, you're buying air. So I'm not 100% against Bitcoin. I just find it hard to define what it is I'm buying with Bitcoin. Now, it's true. People have made money on Bitcoin. A lot of people have lost money on Bitcoin. So if you're going to buy Bitcoin, I think I would relegate it to a portion of my portfolio that might be 5 to 7 to 8% as risk capital. And risk capital to me means if you lost all of that money, it's not going to affect your standard of living. You're not going to have to put things back on the grocery shelf. You're not going to have to retire 5 years later, but it's a risky investment vehicle. Now, there are ETFs that buy Bitcoin. Now, that just happened a month and a half ago. And so there's some upward pressure on the price of Bitcoin, I think, because of that. There's a lot of buying in the space. So I don't love it. I don't own it. I don't think that I will own it, but it doesn't mean that you can't make money on it. And it doesn't mean I'm right about it. I was wrong about something back in like 83. I still remember it kind of, but it's so long ago.
Yeah,
but
that was your
I think it's
50th birthday, I think, was that year. Anyway, carry on.
Yes, it's the year that I was in 7th grade summer school. That's why I remember. That was the mistake. But the whole idea of Bitcoin is just perplexing to me. Like, what do you get for it? How do you, when you cash it out, who do you sell it to? Where do you keep it? So there's a mechanism in trading Bitcoin that's unique. And so it does add levels of complexity to things. If you keep it in a Bitcoin wallet on a hard drive and you lose the password, you've lost the value. That's happened to people before. So if you're going to buy it, try and do it on really a recognized Bitcoin exchange or use the ETFs to do it. I think that's a much safer way. And it kind of legitimizes Bitcoin in a lot of ways now that there's ETF investments out there that also invest in that space. So I don't hate it, but I don't love it. I have a hard time kind of grasping the concept behind it.
All right. What's next, Lauren? What do we got?
Do you have to pay tax on an inheritance?
Typically, no. If it's real property or if it's a house, for instance, and let's say it's your mom and dad's house and they bought it for $10,000 40 years ago, and now it's worth $1.2 million on the date of their death, you inherit it at that stepped up basis at that $1.2 million. So there's no tax due. Typically on inheritances, the only people that pay taxes are the giver of the money, and they could do that in a variety of ways. Now, if you inherit it in an IRA, really there's been no tax paid on that money, conceivably, because especially if it's a traditional IRA. So when money comes out of a traditional IRA, there will be tax due, but only because tax has never been paid on that money. If you inherit a stock, a car, a boat, anything like that, you get stepped up basis, no tax due.
And I always like to remind, in case any of my relatives are listening or good friends, you can, if you have lots of money, you can also begin donating inheritance early, right? There's a tax-free dollar amount threshold, right? Is what, 16,000 or something?
There is 16,000, but actually you could give away much more than that early and use what's called your, there's this thing called, I'm about to confuse everybody now, but it's called a unified credit. It's the amount that you would be excluded, your estate is excluded from estate tax currently. And you could give away all of that now and apply to use your unified credit now while you're still alive. People do that if they have an asset that they think is going to appreciate highly in the next several years, or they just want to give it away now. But the value is lower right now. They could do it right now. You don't really see that done a whole lot in what I would call normal circles. You do see it done in the billionaire set, Brian. And I know you run with them a lot because
no, I don't run. So
they're the only people that can afford your coffee order, apparently.
No, but it is 16,000 is the max amount if you just want to send somebody a check or something, right? That's not.
Yeah, you could give $16,000 a year to anybody and have no impact on your taxes or theirs.
So if my brother Jacob, for example, wanted to send me a $16,000 check because I made him famous on this radio station, he could do that.
He's probably writing the check right now. He's probably just asking his wife, hey, what's the date so I could write it in correctly right here? So, yeah, he's probably, going to get that in the mail to you.
Sounds good. I'll watch for it. Next question, Lauren.
Are there any annuities that are a good idea in order to diversify your portfolio?
Well, yeah, there are some companies that are better than others. The things that I would look for are low internal costs, which are hard to find. No upfront commissions. So there are some annuities that are fee-based. And so there's one of my big knocks against annuities. There's many, but one of the big ones is that they have big upfront commissions. And you see people on TV selling this. They're not selling it right now because the market's going up. So, but when the market is in turmoil, you'll see them on TV and they'll be like, well, there's no exposure to the downside of the market. Well, there's no exposure to the upside of the market, but they have huge upfront commissions. And so if you could get them that don't have the upfront commissions and low internal costs. Now, the hard thing about an annuity is that it's also an insurance product. So there's insurance costs in there. And that's one of the aspects that increases the cost of an annuity, is that if some of them say, look, if you put in $100,000 and the market cuts in half and now you've only got 50, but you die, your beneficiary gets $100,000. So that's an insurance policy in a way, and they have to account for those things inside the policy. And that's why the internal costs tend to be a little bit higher in annuities. So there are companies that I know of that have these kind of like stripped down annuities where you get the tax benefit, but not the high costs. And so those are the things that I would be looking for.
Okay.
All right.
I was 24 when my husband passed away. I haven't had the best advice or resources to guide me through the years. I've matured spiritually, and God has shown me the importance of being a good financial steward. How do I find out if my husband had any money in an IRA? He did work, and I know he had a 401k. In May, it'll be 13 years since he passed.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. I want you to reach out to my office, and we're going to help you, okay? Because one of the callings that we have as Christians is to take care of people, widows, orphans, people who are suffering, and that's what my office will do. We will use every resource that we have to find out if there's anything that you have that you are entitled to, and we will help you get it in your name so that you could use it for your family. And that's what I want you to do. But there are ways to do it, and we can help. We've done this before for people. When somebody is in need like this, Brian, I want them to call us. We want to help you.
Yeah, we will make sure to get them your phone number for your office. But again, it's Edgewater Investment Group. So sorry for your loss, and I know he'll help out. Dave, for somebody who is just curious, maybe in a different circumstance, is there a way to search a database somewhere for regular people here?
Well, we've gone through this before, and typically what we do is we start with the company that they work for, and the widow is going to have access to the records, or the widower is going to have access to that. And most companies want to help them. It's kind of rare where you see a company not being forthcoming about information for the living spouse of a deceased person. Absent of that, we can go to individual companies and ask them to run Social Security numbers, and typically they will help us out. It's kind of like, if somebody called me and said, hey, this happened, I might not be able to give them all the information on the account because I haven't verified who they are yet. They could be a creditor, so I want to be careful. But people are willing to help, and we have a way of doing that internally that's a little quicker than somebody doing it on their own, and we would allocate resources to making sure that happens.
Well, it's very gracious of you, Dave, and thanks for modeling for us what we're supposed to do. As Christians, we really are called very specifically to help widows and orphans, and so I love that you're doing that. It's what we should all be paying attention to. We're just about out of time here with Dave Szfranski, president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group, and again, he's visiting his wife in Florida. She just retired as a teacher, so she's probably looking forward to you leaving again soon here. Go back to the beach.
Especially because I said, I'd like you to make my 7 favorite meals while I'm here.
I would do that too.
I bet you did say that, didn't you?
I would do that too.
I did, yeah. I said, you better be cooking and cleaning when I get there.
No, you didn't. I know, Levon, you didn't say that.
Well, I could say it, but that doesn't mean anything's going to happen.
Yeah, she probably made it dirtier for when you show up. That's what she did.
We're going out to a nice dinner tonight, and it's going to be lovely, and it's great to be with my wife and my dog. So, yes.
All right, Dave. We'll talk to you next week, okay, brother?
All right. See you. I'll be in studio next week, home from Florida, with a tan. I'll show you my tan lines, Brad.
Wow.
Okay. I think I'll pass, but I don't know that you'll give me a choice.
I'll disable the live stream next Thursday.
Oh, no. Dave, we'll talk to you next time.
All right. See you.
Again, he's president and founder of Edgewater Investment Group. Joins us each Thursday from 8 to 9 to answer your financial questions. You want to get to him? The best way, come to us. We are, again, Mornings with Brian, and you can text us at 440-546-2255. All right, tomorrow's Follow-Up Friday.
Wow.
We got Pastor Scott Lessing with us.
He's the best.
All morning. I just love that guy. And it's a chance for you to follow up on any topics we discussed this week. Maybe you want to be like, wow, Lauren, I can't believe you said that. Nobody would do that. Dari, I can't believe you said that.
They literally did last week.
No,
They'll do it.
I don't know about that. It would be like, Ron, you're amazing. Tell us more today. Just speak, Ron. Say words. But we'll do all Follow-Up Friday